the I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.
Julian Sol Jordan.
Yes, sir.
What's up, dude?
What's going on?
Man, thanks for, we made this happen on such short notice.
So
I
quick.
literally just watched your film last week, real life.
Yeah, I think you texted me 4 days ago, and I was like, let's do it.
Because it's only been released maybe a month? How long?
It came out, when did it come out? I think July 7th or 8th.
Okay, and we're in August now. So
Yeah.
Dude, congratulations. I saw it's moving views on YouTube and everything.
Appreciate it, man, yeah.
You know how I found it?
How?
On the Facebook neighborhood page.
Let's go.
Never would have thought I'd
go.
find someone in my little neighborhood. First of all,
Yeah.
I'd never check that page because it's always just someone's drama about
Right.
your
My
dog
dog
pooped
ran
in-
away.
Yeah. And I was like, I did not expect to see a young filmmaker in the neighborhood group being
Yeah,
like, hey,
man.
check it out.
Yeah.
But dude, good for you, promoting anywhere you can, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I was looking on, because I was putting on Reddit and different places. I just gotta get the word out.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Facebook forums are kind of perfect.
It's what you got to do, man.
Yeah, and so I put it on Facebook. I think I put it on Lakewood and East Dallas and different ones. And the Lakewood one got 500 likes, and I was like, "That's crazy."
That group goes hardcore. Yeah,
They do, yeah, and it was really cool.
You know what hooked me in on it is you got me with the little marketing nonsense of you might see some familiar sites, and I was like, let's go see where this dude.
Yeah, because I was like, a lot of people are gonna be like, well, why do I need to watch this?
Yeah,
and I was like, well, I gotta throw
how
in,
is this relevant?
Yeah,
to the group?
I gotta throw in that it's I filmed by the lake or I filmed by local places, and it got a lot of people.
Dude,
hooked,
it worked.
so.
That hook got me,
Cool.
and it sent me there. Guys were like, let's check it out. Let's see what the
Awesome.
neighborhood's doing.
Awesome.
But even outside of that, man, it's a good little. Is this the first full length kind of thing you've got to release?
Yeah. So
That's
okay,
exciting.
I'm gonna bring it back. So in
Good.
high school, I did a web series, and it was called The Kings of Class, and it was essentially a season. It was 3 seasons of a show, and it was kind of like The Office meets Curb Your Enthusiasm. I guess those are kind of the same-ish, sort of. But it was a high schooler's version of Curb Your Enthusiasm. It was a mockumentary, and it was 3 seasons. And I did 3 seasons, and it was me and my buddies. And so that was the first long-form thing that I did. I'd made shorts and stuff, and music videos, but real life is the first actual full-length project. I'd worked on
because it's about an hour and a half.
It's 80 minutes. Yeah, hour 20. And I had worked on, my dad's a filmmaker too, and so I'd edited some of his films. But this is the first thing that I've done that's big.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's exciting, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So the questions I had about it, because I really enjoyed it, but maybe not for the reasons you think. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll get there eventually. But
Yeah.
I'm watching it like it's you. This is you. But there's clearly some very small scripted parts, right?
Yes.
Okay, but the majority
reenactments.
Yeah. But the majority of it, this is your experience the whole time, right?
Exactly.
Okay. How long of a time frame are we talking? What age to what age are we dealing with in this?
So I originally had the idea for the movie when I turned 20. So it was a few months after I turned 20. And I knew I just wanted to make something about my life. But it didn't take me, or it took me until the next year to really start. Because I started filming different stuff with my Black Magic, just trying to figure it out. What is this? What is it going to be? And so around 21, I started really filming it. And then I guess fall of 2022 to summer of 2024. So almost 3 years, but I guess 2.5-ish years.
Yeah.
So it's early 20s. It's 21 to 23, barely 23. Which are really interesting years. I'm sure you probably remember those years.
Well, okay, this is what...
Yeah.
I hope none of this sounds negative.
No.
I mean all of this in a very positive way.
Yeah.
But the simple fact is, you're early 20s.
Yeah.
I'm 40 years old. I turned 40 this year, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm going into this with an open mind, but I'm thinking all right, here's this young filmmaker, and it's about his life. Right. And I was thinking how much am I really going to connect with this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm one of those, it's if I'm going to start it, I'm going to finish it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
You
so
commit.
I'm going to commit,
Okay,
right?
cool.
And it's I do that with music too. It's I'm going to listen to the full album before I
Right.
judge it. I might even give it 2 full listens just to check.
Yeah.
But I'm going in with an open mind, but I'm going in with one thinking this is a new filmmaker. I don't know.
You're
I don't know.
It's probably a novelty.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right? And then the other was the age gap. I was I don't know if there's going to be anything here for me. But what was really fascinating, once you started picking up, because you've got a lot of the style of this film, and you can correct me if there's better words for it, but there's lots of hard cuts from part to part, scene to scene, whatever, And so at first, you're really setting up how you're feeling, in the beginning. And as it was going along, to me, I just started laughing.
Yeah.
And I'm not laughing at you.
No.
But what was striking to me is, so at my age, what I don't really care about this stuff, but like my generation's millennials, there's boomers. Are you Gen Z? What are we?
Gen Z.
You're Gen Z. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have been told for most of my adult life that you guys are all stuck on your phones. You don't know how to communicate to anyone, and that you're all just recluses who have never communicated a single word, and that you're just frozen in public, right?
Right.
The laughing part for me was I'm watching you guys go into DIY band shows, warehouse parties, backyard parties, breaking bricks in places you're not supposed to be, right? And I was like, this is exactly my early 20s with my friends. This whole generation that I was told was totally different than me. It's like your music might be different, your clothes might be a little different, but it's like this was my childhood. This was my 20s.
Yeah,
All of a sudden I was like, oh my God, I'm hooked. I'm hooked on this right now.
That's the thing, man, is like also like a lot of my friends like that I grew up around, like the people that you see in the movie are like my friends from when I was like literally like 4 and 5 years old. So like I've known those guys for a long, long time. They also grew up in Dallas with me. And a lot of those guys are surprisingly like very timeless, like in the way that they dress and the things that they do. Like they have like a skate group, or like they really love like artsy shows, and like they love going to see like, you know, this and that. And so that's why I filmed them. I have a lot of friends, and I love all my friends, but I found those friends to be particularly cinematic. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just follow them around with the camera. And they didn't really know what was going on. They were just like, all right, yeah, sure. And they kind of went with it. But knowing me, like, I mean, I've made movies with them since I was a little kid. So they're not like, what's he doing filming? They're not even thinking about it, which was kind of cool. I could just kind of film anything. But yeah, man, I mean, like that was a big thing, is like, I really wanted to make sure that it felt like, because it is about now, like it's about Gen Z specifically, but I also wanted it to feel timeless. In the sense that like people 30 years from now could relate to the feelings of just, because the movie is very kind of, like you said, it has a lot of hard cuts, and like when you're in your 20s, that's kind of how it feels. You're just here, now you're there. And it's very much just kind of like you're trying to figure out like, is this the important thing, or is this the important thing, or I'm gonna goof off here, this is important to me. So that was really an intentional editing choice, was like making sure that it felt kind of like it was just all over the place. So
you said you did some kind of office style mockumentary stuff.
Do you
remember that quote from Andy where he says, it's later, and he says like, man, I wish you knew you were living in the good times.
Yes.
Like those were moments, and it's kind of exactly what you're talking about, you know?
Oh man.
Where it's like, well, I guess that means right now is always the good time. You just got to enjoy it.
Exactly.
And but yeah, it was just so, I felt like I was seeing so much of my experience. You know, I know we both have artistic backgrounds, and it's like when I was doing audio video stuff, like with my high school, you know, it's like VHS. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I remember we would go to these, you know, in high school, we would go to these house parties and these field parties. We'd have the camera that we weren't supposed to take from school and do all that. And then I'm sitting here watching you guys. I mean, I know you're early 20s, but I'm thinking like, well, if they did this in their 20s, I can take some guesses.
Exactly. And well, that's the crazy thing
of what might have happened. But,
exactly. And that's the crazy thing that you mentioned, is like the VHS cameras and whatnot. It's like there's this really interesting kind of thing that I've been noticing with my generation, where it's like I think we're so connected to the point that everything feels kind of virtual, and everything kind of feels like it doesn't seem like there's any tangibility. And my generation is very drawn to like nostalgia and things of that nature and tangibility. So it's like I see a lot of people my age like filming with VHS cameras.
Really?
Like filming with like fisheye lenses, like using cassette players, because it's actually physical in a world where now it's all in the cloud.
I've been getting so many like just Instagram ads or whatever for those. I don't even know what they call it, but it's basically like they're trying to make it look like the disposable camera lens.
It's like a camp snap or
you know
something.
what I'm talking about? Where it's just this flat, tiny lens. And they're like, get that. And I'm sitting here. It's just funny, like everything comes full circle.
It does.
Why do you think you guys are obsessed with the nostalgia, though?
Oh my gosh! I mean, I think
because every generation has had a previous one that you could get that feel that way.
100%.
What is it for y'all?
Well, I mean, I'm still trying to understand why, but I think like, well, also we're the first generation to like have a lot of our lives recorded, and if you look in the movie, most of it, and if you look in the movie. There's a lot of footage like from my early childhood, and if you watch it, you'll notice that ages like 14 to 19, they're not really shown because one, I'm not really nostalgic for that time, but B, it's like it's not really about that. It's more so about the difference between childhood and adulthood and the stark difference there. Gotcha. And I think that my generation is drawn to it just because I guess like I was saying, like there's just like this. It seems like there's this disconnect of like. like it feels good to put in a VHS. Like it feels good to like click record on a camera and go deliver. Like I really enjoy 35 millimeter photography. There's something about it that feels like I'm actually doing something instead of just like taking a million photos on my phone.
Yeah.
Also, we just had really like potent childhoods. Like a lot of the shows that we grew up on and stuff were like really obscure and interesting. And like, I'm not saying that past generations didn't have those, but like there was this really interesting shift in like culture in the early 2000s. I think early 2000s is like really interesting and bright and colorful and strange. And like now in a day and age where everything's just so modern and just so like, you know, minimalistic, that I think we're just drawn to stuff that like feels real. You know?
I get it, man. I think,
you know,
as a millennial, and we're like, I'm on the older end of the millennials, so I don't know, like our wide span probably feels a little different. Like, what age did you get a cell phone?
I think I was 13.
Yeah.
13, but it was like a 3G. Like, 'cause iPhone 3G, like I could like call and like kind of like watch YouTube, sorta, and that was it. Like I didn't have...
But see, that's crazy to me to think like you kind of watched YouTube.
Right.
Because I got my first one when I was 16 because I knew how to drive.
Okay.
And it was like, have you seen the old Nokia phones?
Yeah, I think
They literally look like, we joke about them like they're a brick. They're like indestructible.
Right.
It's just calling and texting. You had limits, like you had minutes that you could call, and you had an amount of text you could send, and if you went over, you got charged more.
Jeez.
So it was literally like, this is like if you break down
Then
and you need help.
You're cooked.
Yeah, and so I mean, the first smartphone I had with the capability you're talking about at 13 was probably early 20s.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
you're like, oh shit, I can watch video on this.
Yeah.
This is incredible.
Yeah.
And so I'm only asking because I find that, you know, it's fascinating, right? Like now I'm at a phase where it's like my grandparents would be like, we had a rotary phone.
Right.
And I'm like, we didn't have cell phones.
I just think right, exactly. I just think there's something like I don't know what it is, but a lot of people my age, like we just love physical stuff. Like there's something about like doing the rotary phone. I think it's just because so much of our lives is just on our screen, man.
You know who Jack White is?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
He had he was one of the big forces that brought back vinyl records.
Yeah.
Right. And I was fortunate enough to live through kind of that surge because I wasn't cassette tapes. That was like just before me.
Yeah.
We were CDs all the way.
Okay.
And my original education was in audio engineering. And at the time where CDs were coming out, it's like, to me, it was the perfect blend of like there's high quality sound,
right,
and it's portable, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, and like we had these fun books you flip through, and it's like your CD collection. Like if I was picking you up and we're going to hang out that night, the CD book's going to be in the passenger seat, and like you're going to hop in and
go through it,
and you're judging me.
You're
judging like, what is this dude's taste?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like the stuff I might be more embarrassed by, it's going to be way at the back, and I'm hoping you find something sooner.
Exactly, and that's the interesting thing is like a lot of people like I think the idea in the concept of albums have kind of started to. I don't see as many people my age listening to albums anymore. It's like singles.
Yeah.
It's like like single here, single there, and I think that there's something about sitting down and watching a movie or sitting down listening to a record because it's like it's full. There's just everything is just too short form nowadays, and I'm not knocking on short form content by any means. I think that in this day and age, like we need that to promotion and whatnot. But I think that it's just important that like we watch full movies and we listen to full records and we go to an art museum and stand there. Like it's just important because like. Especially nowadays, man, like with AI and everything, it's just like...
It's getting faster and
faster. It's getting faster.
I love hearing you say that, though, because we were going through that CD phase. Jack White was one of the few people to be like, CDs are great.
Yeah.
He's like, but it's still like the process of digital recording, all that. There's still... The way he kind of phrased it was like that needle drags through a groove.
Yeah.
There's never a disconnect, right?
No.
Whereas the CD, it's using a laser. So no matter how fast that laser gets, it's always just going off and on, off and on. And there's going to be a gap in your music, and there's going to be a disconnect that maybe you never really perceive.
Yeah.
But you'll...
like humans can't...
Something's
a little different.
Right.
Yeah.
And, so he bought these record plants, and these other people were pressing records, but he kind of brought it back into the fold. Since its biggest fall... Like records had a huge drop off, right? Because cassettes, CDs, streaming killed it all.
Sure.
And it was almost on its deathbed. But since it's been back, it's been the only medium for music that's been steadily increasing.
Right.
Because what you just said, it's like, he again, taking Jack White's words, he was just talking about, there's something romantic about dropping that physical thing in a groove,
No kidding.
watching it spin around, and you're like, this physical thing is making that noise.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
there's also something to be said about like doing that, but also like having friends over, pouring wine, like eating dinner, and you see the music playing. Like it makes the feeling like it's just at what point is, you know, like certain things, like we just need certain things to like make a mood. Like not everything needs to be like an MP3. Not everything needs to be, you know, those things are important. Like I was saying, especially now, because everything's just so, you know, AI'd.
I'm hoping the CDs make a comeback.
Yeah.
There were little things that got to be done on CDs that you can't do with streaming.
Yeah.
Like all the hidden tracks we had and things like that.
The bonus tracks and all that stuff. That's one thing my brother's really good at. Like he loves CDs, so he collects them.
Really?
Yeah, throw in like a Mac DeMarco CD. He'll throw in like a Tyler the Creator CD.
Yeah.
And I also CDs just do sound better than streaming.
Like objectively, like proven, they sound better. Yeah. Because when it goes streaming, they just have to compress it for everything.
Yeah.
And there's just, you know, when you've got a good, not even a great stereo, when you just have a decent stereo and a good CD,
exactly,
you hear so much more of it.
Exactly.
Same with those vinyls, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it makes me happy. Like I said, my whole adult life, I've been told, y'all don't care about any of this shit. All y'all want is convenience. Give it to me now, blah, blah, blah. But then the more I meet people your age, and that it's like, I don't see any of that. Who's making this up? You know?
Yeah, no kidding. I also I'm not really around people like that. Like a lot of my friends are very like, they love like, you know, like they love vinyl, like they love photography, like they love going to see live shows. Like I think there's this misconception that like a lot of people my generation are like starting to like leave that stuff behind, but I think we're going towards it, you know?
I think everybody likes it. I think what happened with my generation is we were the first ones to...
Well, it was new. It was like brand new.
Well,
so it was like...
Well, and like social media for us, you know, it was the Wild West, right?
Yeah.
It's like we were the first people. You know, we were on MySpace and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, old stuff. And so we're also the people where we, like, you take it too far.
Right.
You're like, dude, we got to draw a line with how much of your time should be spent here.
Yeah.
And I think the people after us are going to have a much better balance than what we did.
No
you know?
kidding.
And so, but I think we were the first ones to be like, oh, this is the new thing, get away. Like you were talking about minimalism.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, our parents, the boomers, they were like borderline hoarders. So you'd come into your house and it wasn't necessarily like a ton of color. Maybe it was. It depends on the home. Mm-hmm. But it's like everybody almost had like the same couches and stuff, but there were like crazy floral patterns, fake wood, and just lots of stuff. Like I still like our parents are still alive, and it's like when they die, we're thinking about like, oh my God, we got to clean this place out.
Yeah.
And so I think for us, that's where like minimalism, gray, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
No kidding.
I think we had, because, you know, like our McDonald's even back in the day, bright colors.
What's going on with McDonald's? It looks like I'm at the post office or something. What's going on?
But I think that's our, like the pendulum swung back the other way.
Yeah.
We're like, please, for the love of God, tone it down.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was just so much, which is weird because now I'm swinging back the other way. It's like, again, okay, all right, we took it too far. We put gray on everything.
Right.
We took out anything that was interesting, everything's square, right angles, because it makes us feel comfortable. And then now it's like I go to buy a pair of shoes, and it's like everything's white, black. And I'm like, can I please just get something with a little color here?
Yeah.
Just a little unique design, not just corporate, like, oh, if we only have 3 designs, we make more money.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
But it's funny. Like, I've now lived long enough where I can kind of see it swing back and forth.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it's swinging back.
Well, I also think that's just like human nature. Like, I think like as human beings, like we don't, I mean, even if your day is like, I wake up, I do this, I do that, you're going to get depressed. Like, and so if you start, you know, fueling that into like the culture, then it's like, well, where is the fun? Like, where's the imagination? Like, everything's just so this, that. And it's like, I think, like, my generation especially was maybe kind of given that a little bit. Like, as we got older, that was kind of the world that we were given, sort of. That was how the world was painted for us. And so we're like, well, what happened 30 years ago when people were having fun? Like, what's going on? So I think a lot of people my age are like, starting to try to bring that back.
Dude, that's the way you need to go.
Yeah.
You're doing exactly what we did, like the better parts of what we did.
Yeah.
And those are all the core memories. You know, it's like literally watching, like, I can't remember your friends' names or anything, obviously.
Yeah.
But literally watching them just like stumbling and confused. Like, I think at some point somebody gets punched at one of the parties or something, right?
Yeah.
In the movie.
Yeah, some guy gets like his tooth
and he's
knocked
like,
out.
I don't even know what.
Yeah,
I'm like, dude, I've been at that party next to that guy.
Yeah.
And it's
And
like,
he doesn't know where he's at all.
I was like, man, you know, so then that made me think, oh, okay, like the older generations before me, they had these same exact experiences too.
Yeah.
And it's like what it gave me was a nice warm feeling of like, man, that's right. We all are pretty much the same.
We are.
On those types of levels of like, if you showed up to a party, no matter what generation, with a good attitude and a cold beer, people are going to be like, hey,
Yeah.
what's up, man?
Absolutely.
And, it's like the world wants you to not think that way.
Exactly.
That like, oh, no, you guys are screwing it up. Oh, no, we're screwing it
Right.
up. Everything's wrong and it's somebody's fault. And it's like, I don't think that's what's really happening.
That was a crazy thing. I got this message from someone, and he's an artist, and he's like a filmmaker from Dallas, and he's been around for a while. Like he's older, but he messaged me, and he was like, he showed his appreciation for it and how much he liked it, and he's like probably, I don't want to guess his age, but probably like 70-ish, and I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that was the last person I thought would message me, and I was like, okay, mission's accomplished. Like I really wanted to make sure that it felt like people of all generations could be like, I get it.
Well, I mean, I think what you did correctly, and as I'm, not a filmmaker, I'm talking to somebody who just enjoys watching movies, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So just as a fan enjoying the movie, it's like I other than the reenactments that I know you just wanted to nail correctly, but it's like again, being vulnerable. Right? Putting it out there where it's like there's times you're going to look like, oh my God, this is just that immature part of his life as a young 20-year-old. Like, and I think having those moments, all of a sudden it shot me right back to those times. I was like, Jesus, I remember like when you're freaking out about the debt.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the debt that you're writing down, and I'm laughing because I'm thinking like that's not even like big numbers yet.
Yeah.
This isn't even real debt.
Yeah.
But I remember being 22, owing a little bit of money, thinking like
the world's over.
Life's over.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess I have to
over.
quit everything and focus on this $2,500 I owe.
And that's how I felt, and I was like, I'm gonna film it too. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be cool. But yeah, I mean, that's the weird thing is like, because I've been working on this for like a while now, and putting it out. That's the artist's demise. Is like when you work on something for so long, the last thing you want to do is be like, and check out what I made for another year, and then promote it, and then like, because it's like, oh, I'm so past it. But that's one thing is that I'm trying to realize is like, well, people haven't seen it yet, so I can't be selfish like that. I got to share it. But of course, I cringe when I see those moments. I'm like, oh man, that's a tough one. Like
if you were making something that personal and you didn't cringe at all, like if you finished it and you were like, "Dan, I'm awesome."
Yeah, well,
you know it's going to be
absolutely.
bad. It's going to be really bad.
That's the thing is that's one thing I've really been struggling with lately is like it's hard for me to kind of I watch and I'm like, oh, it's, it was the best I could do with what I had. But I think that the growth just in the past year, like I'm light years creatively ahead of it, and it's hard to like. But it's also awesome because I get to do stuff like this. I get to do the the IndieWire. I get to do it's like and it it's just been so cool. But I mean,
if you shelved it until you're finding perfection, you're never going to release it.
Exactly, and that's the thing is like in my head, I think like I heard this quote that was really interesting. It was I forget exactly who said it, but it was like they were just mentioning about a film that they made, and they said they're looking back on the film. They're like, I don't think that my talent lived up to my taste when I was making it. And I think that that's how I feel about it. Like in my head, like that movie was, I'm not throwing around the word, but I thought that real life in my head was like a masterpiece. I was like, dude, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. And I think that, limitations, this and that, I get in my own way, but I don't think that I could have learned how to go past those things if I didn't do it. And that's kind of what I've threaded into the story is the whole kind of, you gotta grow up. You gotta experience things to know how to actually make them greater, how to live your life, and
I mean, look, nobody is starting on that first one with perfection, right? And more importantly, I mean, just taste change, right?
Yeah.
You were doing what you thought in the moment was great, and when it's a movie about your life anyway, isn't that the perfect way to do it?
Yeah.
I mean. I've had the pleasure of filming a comedy special for someone, and we're going to do some more.
Oh, sweet!
And that's what we were talking about with him. I was like, if we do this right, and your career goes the right way, even though I enjoy this release, this should be the worst one you ever do.
Right.
So like, just let's do it.
I think that's I think that might be a good way to look at it because I think with this one it was like I think I found myself many times like starting to try to do it and then kind of being afraid of doing it because I didn't want to mess it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like that's where it gets dangerous because then
too precious.
Then you put it on this pedestal and then you never want to work on it. And if there's any advice I give to anyone that's like trying to start to do something like this is like just do it, man. Like you just got to do it because you're gonna mess up. up. But like then you're going to realize, okay, I shouldn't do that. I should do this. And that's just the process. And you have to have grace with yourself. Like in the movie, like there's this whiteboard that you see a few times where I'm like writing on the whiteboard, and there's like 200 things on there, and I think I only got to put like 30 of them in the movie. And it hurt a little bit, but that was the process. I was like, well, you know, this is the learning experience, and it hurt, but it became something cool, and you know, that's all that matters.
That's a good practice though. Like you got to cut something. You got to cut something. It's not all great.
You have to. I remember I was like editing it for like some deadline, and I was like editing it, and I had all the footage there. And I started putting all the scenes together in the way that I thought that it would look. I was like, okay, this is how the movie's going to look. And I put it together, and I watched like 20 minutes of it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like this is not... Well, because you think you know what it's going to be in your head, and you're like, dude, like this is going to be...
And here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I've been there.
Yeah.
You know what you want it to look like.
Yeah.
And only... after you start filming, do you realize that you don't have the budget for that?
You don't have the budget for it. Not only
you don't have the budget. You don't have a crew.
Not only
it's just you.
It's just you, and not only is it just you, but like you, I mean, you just have to see it on the screen first to realize like, oh, damn, like that's not maybe what I had intended to do. But then it becomes something else, and you just got to roll with it.
Yeah,
you know. But
yeah, it was very jarring for me when I started filming things because the first thing, I mean, a long time ago I filmed things and I had a great time then, and then I had this huge gap where I did nothing.
Yeah.
Then I started filming for this podcast. I started doing like a little live series where we recorded bands in studios, and I got to get kind of back in that creative fold. And then when you start realizing just how much is affected by your budget, you know, in terms of like this look, it would require this lens, this filter, this whatever.
No
oh my God, if I needed to look that smooth, I need a gimbal or something.
You got to get a crane, like this and that, and that's.
But then the fun part was realizing like, wait, I live in the greatest era of DIY
filmmaking.
I can go onto all these forums, everything, YouTube, whatever, and find ways that people are like, oh no, if you roll it on a skateboard,
it'll look the same.
You know, and you're like, okay,
of course.
And so then it came back to more of that. We're back to discovery.
Discovery and play.
Yeah,
exactly.
Fun.
And that's the fun thing. And it was like, that was one thing that I think I also realized is like, when you're starting out, like you're not going to be able to compete with Marvel. You're not going to be able to compete with A24 or like these big budget. I guess A24 is a little smaller, but they're still bigger.
Much bigger than what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, you're not going to be able to. So why not? You know, lean into the lo-fi. Like, why not lean into what you can do and use it to the best of your ability? Because I think that there's something beautiful about leaning into what only you can do in the moment. Like, if you watch the movie, there are a lot of stuff where it's like old VHSs that I found in my attic, and the audio is really terrible. But what I did is I would like put subtitles on the VHS quality, and then people are like, oh, it's supposed to be nostalgic, right? And so I just leaned into the $0 footage that I had, but it gives it a thematic and cinematic quality to it. And I think that can be almost more powerful than like having a crazy car chase sequence on a crane, you know?
Well, and I think
those are great. Those are great. I mean, you need that stuff, but like
they're awesome.
If you're just starting out, like why not just like, you know?
Yeah, I mean, a crane shot at y'all's DIY band party, that would have been pretty cool.
I know. Dang, I know.
No,
man.
but also, you know what's crazy is like you're talking about how you're using like a Blackmagic camera. Which, you know, for someone who would want to start out filmmaking, they'd be like, damn, that's a sweet camera, right?
Yeah.
But the reality is, here in, 10 years, that is going to look old anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, like, I had this discussion about music because, like I like a lot of, like, country and Americana music, right? So you have a lot of these modern, quote, cowboy performers, right? They're wearing the outfits, they're wearing the hat,
right? They're
singing and playing in that old-fashioned style because they really want to. I mean, one, that audience loves it, but two, I think they just want to be like their heroes. And then a lot of people know it just sells, right? So they're getting up there and they're like, called someone on the telephone.
Yeah,
it's no, bitch, you texted me.
You're on the private jet riding that, like,
And so it's, I just think like the reason, like when Johnny Cash or whoever was writing those songs back then, he wasn't thinking I need to sound old.
Yeah.
He was writing about like that time. Like if they're saying they were using a payphone, they were using a payphone.
Exactly.
And so it's like, whatever you're doing now, like it doesn't seem like it, but if I'm talking about Instagram in a song right now, 30 years from now, it's going to be like, whoa.
Yeah.
So old fashioned. And that's how this video is going to look like. Using what you have now is going to, since you like it since you want it to be a little bit of that nostalgia,
Yeah.
it's like it's all going to be viewed that way
Right.
eventually. And that's
Absolutely.
going to be really fun rather than going, how do I get perfection right now?
Exactly.
You know?
And speaking of the Blackmagic camera, like if anyone is like an aspiring filmmaker and like they just, they have been shooting on their DSLR or even like their phone or something, like, hey, the Blackmagic is really not that hard to like figure out. Like it's actually quite easy to figure out. And if you if you save up your money, like the camera's like, it's not cheap, but it's also like, it's like $2,500. Like if you're like my age and you just put some money aside, like, dude, get that camera. Like that camera's crazy if you're trying to make a movie, but
Yeah.
also you can shoot something on a VHS if you want, but yeah.
Different. I mean, just depends on what you're doing. Right?
Exactly.
I go through that struggle right now. We're going to film another comedy special for a different comic at the end of the year. And I read an article a long time ago about comedy specials, how they're really weird.
Yeah.
In the sense of like, there will be some goofy upfront thing that doesn't really tie into whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
And then someone runs out on stage and it's like a big theater because they want to go like, look how impressive I am.
Yeah.
And then it's a comedy show, but there's like crane shots, there's sliders,
Right.
and there's like zoom and all these cuts, and you're like, what is going on?
What's in a movie?
That is not. Have you got to go to any comedy shows?
Dude, I have never.
Okay,
I've
so
never
it's not
gone.
that way. You're sitting in a room,
And it's just like a brick wall or like,
yeah, and you're looking at the person from the same angle for their
Yeah.
whole performance, right? And I've never once thought like, oh, I really wish I could see the other side of their face. That
Right.
right now, this show is ruined because I can't see that.
Right.
And so this article, I was really thinking about how they referenced one that Bo Burnham directed for
Dude, Bo Burnham.
what's his name? Gerard Carmichael.
Dude, did you see it?
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool.
And so they were just talking about like, hey, here's someone who paid attention to, can we make it feel a little cinematic, even though it's a comedy show?
Yeah.
Help tell the story of whatever the comic's trying to say. And that really stuck with me. So the first one we filmed, the guy was trying to get over this part in his life. Kind of how you were talking about, I want to be over that section in the film. I'm
exactly.
beyond that, but I have to do it. He had hit rock bottom with this crippling meth addiction, went through a separation and a divorce, found out they had a kid afterwards, and trying to make it work. And he burnt bridges through the comedy scene. Like he hit his rock bottom, but he came back from it, and he like sobered up, got himself back together, and he's like, I need to get all this material out of my system because I don't want to be known as like the meth guy anymore.
Right.
And we closed out, and so we had to really think about, is there like a way we can shoot an intro that kind of brings you in, because his humor is real dark, real personal.
Yeah.
And he's talking about some of the horrible things he went through and did. And he's talking about like lost loved ones within it. Stuff that just, you're like, I thought we were at a comedy show. I'm depressed.
Well, it's kind of like the Bo Burnham comedy. It's
Yes.
it's kind of dark comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
Did you ever watch Inside?
yeah, it's great. It's great. I was wanting to talk to you about that.
Great.
Because just the whole idea that he's just shipping stuff through Amazon and filming alone that whole time is incredible. Incredible.
It's one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
When I feel like you're one of the few people that I can talk to that really understands how complicated the timing of some of that stuff was.
Oh my gosh.
The fact that he just nailed it so
Well, I think one thing that I really also like about that special is like they advertise it as a special. That's a movie. Like,
Yes.
that's a film.
It's
like,
weird. It doesn't really fit into anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it. I guess it is a special sort of, but it's like I just think it's great.
Well, he's always been
Head of
he's
the
always
curve.
been outside of the boundaries.
Yeah.
A little harder to classify.
Yeah.
Because when he was doing, I wasn't aware of him when he was younger, just on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
But when he released one of his earlier specials where he's on stage playing piano and walking around doing more of a one-man show,
Yeah.
that's kind of when I found him. But when he bumped it up a notch and he was in like a theater and he's like, doing parody of Kanye about his Chipotle burrito.
Oh man.
And it was just the production value
It
of
was
it all.
beautiful.
When you think about like the amount of rehearsal that went into nailing that.
No kidding.
That's when I was like, oh my God, this guy's really on another level.
He's on another level, and he's also like made a movie too, like 8th Grade, the film, and like he's
forgot about that.
he's great. Like he's like there are a lot of artists that I look up to. He's an artist I look up to. Like I think he is. I don't know. I think he's just a really smart guy. Like
really smart, and it's hard to find people that are not only like self-aware of their own ego, but really, it's like you can tell the guy's a little, he probably doesn't like a lot about himself. In the early days,
a little,
maybe
a little self-deprecating.
Yeah, but he just the ability to like put that out there,
Yeah.
not care, even though it's like, well, it's like, oh no, he must be cool with it. He's making jokes. It's like, I bet he's dying inside
Like,
right
well,
now.
that's the thing. It's like, what do they say? It's like comedy is just like tragedy in disguise.
Yeah, I think it's tragedy plus time.
Right, tragedy plus
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
which is great. Yeah, he's great, man.
Yeah, I mean, anytime he puts something out, man, I gotta watch it. Inside, in particular, though, like, just
I remember me and my dad watched that, and it ended, and we're just like, whoa.
yeah,
That was cool.
really cool,
Yeah.
man. And I'm just thinking, just the whole process. Well, by now, it's like just thinking it up.
Yeah.
Hey, today I feel like I'm going to try to do this, organizing all, and then the hardest part, right? He spent a year or however long filming all that,
Yeah.
going like, I guess I'll actually release it,
Right.
because he could have just been like, what the fuck did I do for a year?
right. Just trash it.
What was this?
Exactly.
That was like a huge inspiration, because you're seeing the equipment he's using. Like I found a great like subreddit or something where they listed it all, and you're like, this is all very accessible
Yeah.
to anyone.
Couple
and it
$100.
looks beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. That was one thing, is like, I remember I was like starting to figure out like what I wanted to do with this movie, and like trying to figure it out. I remember I watched that, and it just gave me more inspiration to know like you can do something by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do something by yourself that, like I said, isn't like a crazy A24 movie, but is personal and also just kind of like cinematic and like poignant.
Yeah.
And
What age did you start really filming everything? Because it was before you decided to do the movie, right?
yeah.
Because you had a lot of footage.
Yeah,
before.
there was definitely like probably 5 or 6 months worth of footage that I had just had before. And obviously I had like all the old footage of like, me as a kid and like my parents and stuff. But I had a bunch of footage. And then when I decided like, okay, I want to make it into something, that's where I decided to keep filming more. But I think that when I was filming, like when I had the idea for the movie, I think that it became maybe less candid. It was still candid, but it was like in the back of my mind, I was like, this is for a movie.
Right.
So it was like a little bit, and that's kind of becomes the theme of the movie, is like I become too self-aware that I'm making a movie. And I'm like, well, is this movie even good? Right. But it's like the whole point is like, you don't, especially I think it's also kind of plays into the themes of Generation Z, which is like, we see our life on this screen and we see our life, just like on this feed. And it's like, well, is my life even interesting? Like, is it even, and I think that, when you watch the movie, I find the answer to that sort of, but, I think 4 or 5 months worth of footage. And then I just like, kind of just, went off from there, but.
Yeah. So how long till your friends get used to like, he's just always got the camera?
Yeah.
No, he's doing a movie. Let him do it.
Yeah.
How long? Because at first they're just like, oh, camera.
Yeah. I think at first, like, I remember I would like show up to their houses and have like a little like point and shoot camera, and they were just like, oh, he's just probably documenting. And then some of them didn't know until I had finished it. I was like, hey, I made it a movie, and they were like, oh, cool. But a lot of them were like, I think they started to like, I didn't really tell them, but I think they just started to like kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, you're always like, you haven't really been filming this much before. Like, what are you doing? And then I would like tell them, oh, cool. It wasn't, they weren't like, that was one thing is I was really afraid of, is like, because when you tell someone you're making a movie, like they kind of like put on the movie face.
Of course.
And
Performative, yeah.
Exactly. And so like, that was one thing I just didn't want to do. I didn't want to tell them initially, because then they were going to like perform or whatever.
Yeah, because I mean, even without the camera, in a social setting, you've already got a little wall up.
Yeah, exactly.
You're already kind of trying to put your best foot forward.
Exactly.
You're not being too honest. I mean, the average person is very honest, but you're, hi, how are you? Hey, what's going on? Good to see you. Like, it's always a little surface level for a while.
100%.
Yeah.
And I also think that there's something to be said about like people my age, when they see a phone camera in front of them, they kind of like also perk up and they kind of like do the thing. But if they see a VHS camera or a point and shoot camera, they know that it's not going to go straight to Instagram, or they know it's not going to go straight to this and that. And so it's a little bit more candid. And so that's why in the movie there's a lot of VHS, so there's a lot of GoPro stuff, because they're like, oh, it's just a camera.
Smart
It's
move.
not a phone. Like, I can just be myself.
We can delay repercussions.
Exactly. Right.
Well, you were talking about it beforehand. I mean, it's all fun when you're shooting film and you're partying and have a good time and all these candid moments. But then the inevitability of like, hey, so I'm going to release this. Are you cool with how you look in this?
Yeah.
And what you did? Because
Exactly.
you might have like future employers or family members.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the thing. It was like I found like a release form, like a legal release form document. And I have a company that I made, and it's like for all my productions and stuff. So it's like under that, and I think I had like a spreadsheet of like 60 or like 50 or 60 people that like were prominently in the movie, because there's scenes where like I'm at some parties that are public parties, like you buy a ticket, or you don't even buy a ticket, it's like it's free and you go, and there's no expectation of privacy, like there's cameras
you're in a
filming,
public space,
so you can't go to court and be like, I didn't know I was being filmed. Well, there's cameras everywhere. So when it wasn't that, when it was in private settings, I would look at the people that I filmed and I would write their name down. I'd send it to them, and I consider myself like a good friend. Like I don't think in any point in the movie I'm like painting them out to be like something bad or something wrong, but it's kind of like a bird's eye kind of view. And so I was like, hey, just FYI, like this is in the movie. And they're like, yeah, it's cool. It's also like there's some stuff in there where it's like you can't take it to court because you know the weed's already been smoked. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't, like, you know what I mean? Like they weren't smoking weed, by the way. That was CBD. But but no, I mean a lot of them were cool.
Allegedly smoking weed.
Allegedly, yeah. And but yeah, I mean it's just release forms and that kind of stuff, and got all them signed. So
did you have anybody who was like? I mean, is anybody going like, well, let me see what it is?
No.
Really?
No one.
Fascinating.
Well, because, like, I think, I think I, like, would tell them, like, hey, in this scene, like, you're doing this. Oh, that's cool. You know?
Just owning it.
Exactly. And there was some stuff that, like, I didn't film or I didn't put in there because it was a little too, like, probably shouldn't do that. But,
you know, you get that feeling.
Yeah, like I think the worst thing or whatever that you see in the movie is like someone like smoking a joint or something, like, or like, you know, but like,
which, let's be real, these days is that
come on now, you know. If I feel like if I didn't put that in there, I'd be like, what are you hiding? You know what I mean? A little bit.
Well, I mean, you're going to be the last generation where it's not legal.
Right.
Genuinely, like this is coming. It's been on the way my whole life.
Yeah.
It's the last little bit of like your very evangelical, conservative religious people who are holding out their politicians like, if you legalize it, I'm going to... And it's like, God, you'll be dead in 5 years, and then we can get past this. Yeah. Literally, it's just old people clinging to these old ways. And now it's like the boomers are all like I can't tell you how many people we know that are over 50, 60 who are like, you know, I've heard
about this thing, and
I've heard that they're using this marijuana with veterans.
Yeah, and they're working,
and their PTSD.
Yeah,
and I've got my reservations. Yeah, but I think I'd like to try it.
Exactly, and you're like, come on, man.
So like all of a sudden we know people where it's like we'll go to a pool party, and we met somebody, you know, of that generation, and they're like passing around their little prescription bottle with their joints in it. And we're like, where are you getting that? And they're like, oh, we got a friend who makes a run to Colorado.
Right.
Like, oh, okay.
That's so funny.
How y'all voting this year?
Right, exactly.
Can y'all push that item up since you're on board now?
Get that pushed up.
Yeah, and so it is going to be like just this conversation about getting a film release signed and checking if you're okay with the weed smoke.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like I said, we're talking about nostalgia. That alone is hard to think like that's going to sound so old fashioned. In your adulthood later down the line.
Exactly. Well, also I had someone mention to me, like a friend of mine, he was like, I really liked it, and he was like, one thing that I really stuck with me that like for some reason it's like very cinematic to me is like watching raw footage of people our age like doing that stuff.
Yeah, man.
There's something inherently cinematic about it where it's like it doesn't come across the same way when it's like cinematically filmed or staged. Mm-hmm. Like I think it's a little bit more like, because like I said, like you don't really, well, for the most part, you don't really see that kind of stuff on Instagram and stuff. And that was one goal of the movie.
But that's also you know it's like the cameras on here, the cameras on your phone.
Yeah.
They're great for this purpose.
Exactly.
But really, like capturing the real world, they suck.
Yeah.
Right? There's so much processing going on that you don't need. And again, like even when you have a great camera, like your Blackmagic, right? Nothing as amazing as cameras are, right? Even the ones outside of our range, our budget range, nothing really compares to like the way your eyeball sees the sunlight in the real world and the colors. Like you're always going back in and going, well, let me correct this.
Exactly.
Let me adjust that.
Dude,
let me try to get it to the real world.
One time I was like, I forget what I was doing. It was like color correcting something like for someone, and I was like in like my room for like 3 days. This gets like crazy. And I walked outside and I was driving and I started color correcting the road as I was driving. I was like, oh my gosh, like this is not okay.
It's not asphalty enough.
Exactly. I was like, dude, I need to like go on a run or something. But no, yeah, I mean that was the thing. And it's like when you watch the movie, in like the first like I think like around the 20-minute mark or something, like there's like that moment where I'm like, my eyes are the camera. The camera's me, and it's like by the and you sort of realize it's like, well, you can't, like you got to actually live those moments,
Yeah. Well, I think that's why some of that VHS footage and stuff looks so much fun. Looks like fun because like the way it smooths things with its flaws.
Yeah.
Like I lived through the switch to high definition television.
Okay,
right, from standard definition to high definition.
Right.
There, if you ever want to have fun, go look up clips. There are all these fun moments. Because there was a whole industry around standard definition and its haziness and pixely whatever.
Exactly.
So like news anchors, the makeup was extremely dramatic for the shitty definition.
Wow.
So the switch to HD,
It looks strange.
all of a sudden people for like, a couple months or a couple weeks, there's like clown makeup on them.
That's crazy.
Right? Because the makeup artist is like, well, I don't know how to do this.
For high def. Wow, I didn't know
and so
that.
little learning curves like that, like we got to light it differently.
Wow.
Like all of a sudden you're like, oh wow, they do have pores on their face.
Right.
That's interesting. And so I think that threw like a little hiccup to cinematic films also, because things go like really amazingly high detail. But what happens even in like a Marvel film, right? It's like if I saw you in a Captain America outfit in real life, you'd look fucking ridiculous.
Right. Exactly.
And so if I film it that incredible, like high definition, like 6K, whatever you want to say, you're going to go, that outfit looks so stupid.
Right. Well, it goes.
And so it's like they have to dumb it down a little.
Exactly. And it kind of goes the opposite way, because like I was saying, like there's a lot of old footage of like my parents when I was younger and like me as a baby, and like I think that if I like for some like AI'd that footage to make it look really good, it wouldn't feel as right. It would feel wrong because it would feel less like a memory, right? And I think like that was
where you're at the beach and everything.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think like the glitches in the footage and like the haziness, like you said, like it gives like a inherent like just nostalgic feeling to it. Like it feels like a memory. Yeah. It goes the other way. It's like,
Yeah, it's interesting. I started thinking a lot about how because, you probably went through this earlier than me, but when you start you can get down these rabbit holes of reading about like, frame rates and how, all the details of how I'm going to set this up. And all of a sudden you go for like, I need maximum everything because that's what's going to give you the best footage.
Right.
Right. Which is always a beginner's mistake.
Yeah.
And you do notice that. You're like, wow, it's kind of the flaws in it that are making this fun.
Oh, 100%.
Because, like even colors, right? Like you were talking about, the real world's not looking like it's supposed to.
Yeah.
It's like, all of these colors in some of these films are so exaggerated.
Yeah.
It's never going to look like that.
100%. I think like, no, exactly. And it's like, I don't know. I just found like there was just something super interesting about just like throwing that footage in there, because it was just like, it just gave it like a, I don't know, like it just gave it like a very kind of heavy feeling. I don't know.
That VHS is kind of the it's kind of like the vinyl of film.
Exactly.
That little magnet just staying on the tape the
Exactly.
whole time.
Exactly.
Or I don't know if it's a magnet, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But that's exciting, man. When you with your parents are included a lot, and it's like not only are they in the footage, but it's like I think your mom's in the final reenactment, right?
Yeah. And I'm
And
like directing her or whatever.
Yeah. And they seem like super supportive. It sounds like they're already an artistic family.
They
of
are.
course.
My dad is a filmmaker, and he just actually made his second feature film. Well, his first one's called This World Won't Break, and he shot it around Dallas, and it's literally looks like $1 million movie. Like it's about this country singer in Dallas, and it feels like you're in the 1980s in Dallas, and it's about this musician that turns 40-ish, and he's like trying to figure out like where's his path, and it's like really beautifully shot, scored, directed movie. And then he just made his second film, which is called El Tonto por Cristo, which translates to The Fool for Christ. And it's not a religious film, if you're wondering. It's like a dramatic film about this crazy monk on this island, and it's black and white. We're about to go on like a tour for it, which is really
That's
cool.
awesome,
but
man.
so he's a filmmaker and an artist, and then my mom is producing all of his stuff, but she's like a musician. She was in the Polyphonic Spree, which is a band, and so she so my whole family's like very. She like created this yoga studio that was really big in Dallas, and my brother's like he makes videos, and he's super creative too, and he's got like a great mind. So I'm kind of just been around it my whole life, and it's never been like, I think when I was younger, my parents would kind of hint at like, hey, like, what do you think about maybe being a doctor or being this or that?
Don't
and
make our mistakes.
Yeah, exactly. and I'd be like, I want to be a filmmaker. Like, all right.
Yeah.
And it's but that's the thing is like, they also have sort of helped me kind of like come to the realization of like, that is very possible, but in order to get there, you might need to like finish your degree, or you might need to like get that job, and like you might need to support yourself so that can be your career, you know. And
well, like to that point, that was one of the parts that made me laugh, and it wasn't supposed to be a funny moment.
Yeah.
But it's because I'm watching it through the lens of a 40-year-old, right? So like in some of these moments, I'm thinking much more like your parents,
Yeah, absolutely.
than I'm thinking like you.
Exactly.
So there's a scene where you guys are the camera's set down somewhere, we don't really see you, but y'all are discussing like what you need to do.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like here's what your budget will allow. If you just get a job, do that.
Yeah.
And it's making me laugh because
it's supposed to be funny. It's like ridiculous.
Okay,
it's like,
because in the moment of that film, it's so insurmountable.
Oh, 100%. And it's
which is just very funny. Like
20.
I don't mean this in a rude way, but the immaturity that's still in you in your early 20s, where because you still got a lot of life ahead of you and a lot of experiences that 100%. You haven't experienced. These are your limited experiences, so it truly feels that
like
way.
the end of the world.
And that's what made me laugh, because it's like, God, I remember feeling like it was that bad.
Dude,
and then 10 years later, you're like, it was fine.
Well, even now, like I look back on it and like I think I'm in a blessed position right now. Sometimes I get in my head for sure, like obviously, but like I look back on that footage now, bro.
It's
like,
silly, right?
Come on, bro.
Because literally, like what was the debt? Do you remember? I think it was under $5,000.
Yeah, it was like something like that. But I was like, dude, like,
and you're like, I don't know. I'm making my film.
Yeah,
I gotta go. I'm going to community college.
Yeah,
and I still need to get a job. And I remember just hearing, I think it was your mom, it was one of your parents, just being like, yeah, I mean, like if you just get a job, you can pay this, pay that, you'll have a little bit left over.
I'm like freaking out.
And then it shows you like it's supposed to be kind of a sad moment
hitting
where you're
a steering wheel or something.
Not that. But no, like you're in the kitchen somewhere working, like you got a
job.
Oh, yeah. And it's like, yeah, that's it, man. Just like, but a couple hours in, you got some gas money now.
Exactly. But like in the moment when you're 20, you're like,
I know.
I do not want to do this. Like, this is the worst thing ever. But like,
well, and I had to remind myself too. Like, viewing this from my lens with my experience now, I also forgot a little bit, because later on I was like, oh well, like if I want to go get a job right now, I have experience. I have stuff that makes me look responsible and mature. If I wanted to go get a entry level job at something, I'm probably going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
Right. But I forgot. It's like, but when you're 20. And you have zero work experience, you have zero resume. It's like, I guess I forget it's harder to even find an entry-level job.
It's hard. Like,
and you don't, like, I have years of putting in applications, going to interviews. So it's like, you just tell them the thing. And it's like, oh, wait, he hasn't done a lot of that yet.
Yeah, I mean,
I had to remind myself while I'm laughing at it, like, oh, that's right. I didn't know
you haven't gone
either.
through it yet. Yeah. And I was like, I'm like watching it, and I'm like looking back on it, and I'm like, those days, like I think I was beating myself up. I mean, as you watch the movie, like, dude, come on, bro. Like,
it's just a little mild depression.
It is, it is. But I'm like watching it, and it's like, what was the worst day that I had? I like only went to the gym or something. You know what I mean? Like I didn't get and so like I look back, but I also look back on it with like compassion. I'm like, oh man, like, and so that's the thing is like a lot of people my age, like the most people that are related to it, obviously are my age. But I've gotten like, I think some guy like left a comment where he was like, he's like, it seems like it's trying to be more serious than it is, or like it's, he has no scars in his life, and it's like you gotta remember how it feels to be that age. Like it's like, of course you're gonna be like that, and it's like in 5 years' time, you look back on it and you're like, well, it wasn't that bad. But in the moment, it's like your whole life you've just been in school and public education, and then when you leave schooling, you're either in college or you're in life. And it's just, that era is real weird, because you're thinking about when you used to be a kid and when you didn't have responsibilities, but then like you're kind of in the beginning of the movie, it says like there's like the NPR podcast or something that I'm listening to, and it's like the 20-year-old kind of struggle is like finding stability versus meaning in life. And it's like trying to figure out like, well, like, what's my purpose? But also like, I need to like financially support myself too at the same time. So it's a weird gray area. And like, I can't lie, like I'm still sort of in that right now. And it's not as prominent as it was, but I'm still trying to figure it out. I just turned 24 a week ago.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what it's supposed to be like though.
Yeah.
It's just, me at your age, it's like if somebody across the table told me that same thing, I'd be like, ugh. Because it's so like, yeah, it's fine.
Right.
It's like, okay, yeah, well, that's easy to say,
Yeah.
But I get it. I mean, it's just all part of it,
Yeah.
And it's going to keep going that way. It's just, I think the thing that's going to help you with all of that, right, is just that you're doing something.
Doing action trumps anxiety.
Right, because if you're just sitting around feeling that way, but that's a hard lesson to learn.
It is.
Especially, it's like, I don't know your situation, but it's like when you're younger, you typically have more limited means.
Yeah.
The options are fewer because of that. It's not like you can just go, oh, okay, well, we'll just move like $800 over here real
Right.
quick. And, but that's part of the process of like, learning to kind of be like a crafty human being who can get things done, even though you have those limitations. And then all of a sudden, 10 years later, you're like, oh, that was all pretty good.
Yeah,
that was all pretty solid.
It always works out. It always works out, and it's like
it really does, which is surprising.
It is. It is surprising. Like you look back in like 5 years, and you're like, oh, it's fine. But
if you don't have a real crippling issue of some kind,
right, exactly.
It usually works out.
It usually works out because your brain's going to come up with a million different reasons for why it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like I was talking to someone, I think it was like a counselor that I had at the moment, and I was like filming some of that stuff, and I was like, I'm kind of afraid to put it in there because like it's kind of like vulnerable, and I don't want to like look back on that part of my life. And he's like, well, think about it another way. Like, what if you put it in there and it like helps people when they're at that stage of life? And that really like did a 180 in my brain. I was like, I probably should put that in there.
Yeah.
And so that's been a cool thing, seeing a lot of people my age being like, oh, like, thanks for doing that. You know?
My version of what you were going through was like, we had like the big rise of like emo music and stuff. So that was our like, you don't know how I feel.
Right. Exactly. Right.
You don't know what it's like.
But that's the thing is like, it's like real emo. And then like, there's this moment in the movie where like my friend like kind of just like calls me out. Like at the end, he's like scoring it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of, but that's also like kind of supposed to like be kind of funny too. Cause it's like, dude, come on. Like, what are you doing?
What was funny about that is after that moment of like, can I have something happy?
Yeah.
It goes right back into more sad music.
Right. Exactly. It's a little bit less sad, but it's still like, it's still kind of melancholic.
Because when it was happening, I was like, I wonder if he's about to cut to something real happy. I was like, nope.
Yeah. It slowly starts to like.
No, it's done well.
Yeah,
it's just, again, like, I know it's not intended to be a comedy. It's just because of the age difference where I'm going like, for me, like the whole thing was, it's weird. It's like, how is this my nostalgia when it's his stuff going on? It was very strange,
right?
But very fun, and I really liked it. And I was talking to my wife about it, and she's like, well, what do you think? I was like, I don't know that we're watching it the way we're supposed to watch it, but I liked it.
Yeah. That's cool. That's awesome.
But it was great, man. And the part that was making me laugh the most was I remember having these exact conversations of like one of your buddies, or a couple of them, they're sitting there and they're like, dude, it's just like, like a quarter of our life is already gone.
Yeah. And you're like, bro, get out of your chair and go do something.
But I remember, it's like you got a couple beers, maybe some other stuff in you.
Dude,
and it's like,
I don't know.
And it hits you, you're like, so that was high school. It's done. It's done.
Well, he like texted me like a while later and he's like, dude, look, I was like, I like maybe smoked a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
And it's like, well, yeah, because
that's when you have that thought.
You have the epiphanies. You have the, oh my gosh.
You're getting a little paranoid, a little insecure.
Exactly. And you're like, dude, like, oh my gosh, we're 20. Like, this is crazy. And it's just like, yes, but also like to conquer that feeling, you just have to do.
I remember talking to a musician and he was like, I'm 26.
Yeah.
If it doesn't happen this year, I guess I have to hang it up.
It's like, dude, come on.
It's like, no. Figure out a way to pay your bills.
Yes.
Keep doing the thing.
Oh, I saw this thing. It was like Seth Rogen was like talking about like Ian McKellen. He's like, that dude didn't get famous until he was like 60.
Right.
When he was like 60 years old.
Yeah. I mean, it's wild. It's wild to think like, if it's going to happen for you, it'll be whenever it's supposed to happen.
It'll be,
you can't. Well, your generation knows better than anyone, right? You
Yeah.
can't like make things go viral. That's inherently opposite of viral.
It is.
It is. It's like things just happen and it's out of your control. So just do your best, and that's all you got to do.
Exactly. Like I think a lot of people, like especially like higher ups, will be like, we really got to get this thing to go viral, and it's like you don't really know.
Yeah.
You don't have control over that.
Yeah.
By any means.
You sound like you don't know how the internet works at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, because I mean, just Bo Burnham's a great example. If before he came out, no business mindset person would be like, what type of person we need to make, and then describe Bo Burnham.
Exactly.
Well,
have you read the Rick Rubin book on creativity yet? Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
So Rick Rubin like made this book. He's like a very famous like music producer, artist, like this, that, and the other. But he made this book, and it's called The Creative Act, and it essentially says like you make your art. and you give it up to the world, and you have no control over what happens. You have no control. Like, if you try to control it, you're going to drive yourself crazy. Like, you make the best thing you can make. You do the best thing, whatever it is. If you're making, if you're making a movie, if you're making an album, if you're making a dish, whatever it is, you do your best, you give it up, and you can try your best to, like, get it in the hands of people, but you don't have control over whether or not people are going to react how they're going to react.
Exactly.
And you don't know what people are going to like.
No.
You have no idea what people are going to like.
No, and we talk about that a lot. Like, I've talked about that a lot on this podcast about how it's like, look, just at the very least, if everyone hates it and it doesn't go anywhere, but you did it exactly how you wanted to, then it's like, well, fuck, okay, that's fine. But it's like, if you made all these concessions and you change things hoping people would like it, and then they all hate it, now you're really going to hate yourself.
100%.
That you compromised.
You compromised, and also, it was like David Bowie. He was saying, like, he's like, I find that, like, a lot of artists generally produce their worst work when they try to make it for the audience.
Yeah.
And it's like, because you try to craft something. I think that's also true about music. That's why I really love when artists or filmmakers make a film that's not like their last one. Because they're just trusting themselves, and they're trusting that the people that like them as an artist will follow.
There's a guy right now. He's I don't even know what style he is anymore because he changes so much. But you familiar with Sturgill Simpson?
Yes, I know of him.
Sure. Yeah, your parents probably played it.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, the thing that I like about him, his first couple albums, he was very he was a little more traditional, kind of like country Americana.
Yeah.
You could tell they were written for, like, we're going to be playing in bars. We're trying to get it on whatever show or something, that a little more formulaic. And then the album that he got a Grammy for, he, like, kind of totally went the other way, and he started it was still country music, like he has a country twang, but he started mixing in some, like, deeper, more thoughtful songwriting. He had, like, more of like a Motown feel with some horns mixed into it.
Very cool.
He's doing covers of Nirvana that are not like in rock or country ways, just kind of an interesting blend. And the whole, at the end of the song, again, he's breaking these country boundaries because, the stereotype is going to be like, oh, you love country music, you're going to be like conservative, you're going to have these political thoughts, you're going to have these social thoughts. Meanwhile, his final track on it was like an old-fashioned, it sounded like a jam band kind of Motown rock and roll kind of feel with horns and all this, and it's all like a anti-military, anti-war thing where he's talking about, like, they're gonna cut off your hair and put a badge on your arm and strip you of your identity and tell you to, like, put you on something, meet your maker overseas, and he's got these things again. He's kind of singing about, like, the exact times now, while all these other people who are in the country land are, like, singing about yesteryear. So he's got these lines like, he says something like, wearing your Kim Jong-il hat, trying to sell my pills hat, or grandma's selling pills, like she's selling pills to pay her. So he's like, meanwhile, I'm wearing my I can't pay my fucking bills hat. And it's like, that's not the stuff a country artist is supposed to be singing, right? Not if you're going to be part of that big machine. And so that album kind of hooked me in because my wife was listening to him, and I was like, I don't know, he sounds like another one of these dudes. I expected him to be like, he's wearing the cowboy hat, not really playing the acoustic guitar. And we went and saw him live. It was a total opposite. He's playing everything electric. He doesn't come out in some cowboy get-up. He looks just like a normal dude. He's wearing, like, Vans and jeans. And
but that's the thing, is, like, even though he's doing that, it still feels like him, right? That's the thing.
100%. And it's like, you know what? Vans are already starting to look old-fashioned. Why would we not just do this?
Exactly. It's because I think, like, the key there is, like, it's just confidence in oneself. And confident in the ability to experiment and try things because you know that you're still going to make it you.
Well, one of his lines in one of his songs where he's talking about how he went through the Navy, but he got kicked out of the Navy. And some of the lyrics towards the end, it's like this beautiful, like, country-style harmony. And so, normally it'd be like, dirt road, sunset, blah, 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 whatever, bullshit. And he says, maybe get high and play a little Goldeneye on that old 64.
Oh, man.
Which is very, like, modern, but that console's old enough now. It's like, that's how old, like, how many people from that era don't understand this?
It's like 40 years old.
And then he says, because flying high beats, what does it say? Flying high beats dying for lies in a politician's war. again, very anti like the country establishment.
Yeah.
And to prove that point, it's like when he won a Grammy for that album and they did the Country Music Awards, he wasn't even invited. So he took his guitar and his guitar case and he's like busking in front of the award show with his Grammy down on the ground.
That's cool.
And like half the people were like, "Who's this guy?"
That's really cool. That's awesome.
But then to follow that up, I was like, well, let's see what this next one's going to be like.
Yeah.
And I was almost a little bothered because I don't remember exactly what the next one was, but he changes his style so much. So then after that, I think he did a full-on rock album, like a rock, like so opposite that
completely changed it.
They created an entire anime film to sync up with the whole album.
Wow.
Very opposite of like, okay. And it's like
He's just...
Oh, and then after that, he like comes back and he like reimagines a bunch of his songs as like traditional bluegrass.
Wow.
And he puts out like 2 double albums of just bluegrass songs. And the guy's just doing whatever he wants.
It kind of reminds me of, Joshua Ray Walker?
Yeah, local guy.
Yeah, Joshua.
He's great.
I've worked on some videos for Joshua, and my dad has as well. But Joshua just like dropped like a Hawaiian album.
Yeah,
and it's good.
My wife was like, "Oh, so like new Jimmy Buffett?" And I was like, "Yeah, kind of, but stop." Shut up.
Yeah, right. Joshua is also super creative in that way. Like he'll just like make whatever. Like he made like this one song called "Sexy After Dark," and it's like it's country, but it's also, dude, that song is fire. Like that's a great song, but it also doesn't sound like his last album, and it's like
it shouldn't.
But
right?
it still just feels like him.
He's a guy, I really like him.
Me too.
I was fortunate enough to see his band like long ago before they were even as popular now. The Ottoman Turks.
Yeah.
Like I would go down to like the Deep Ellum Arts Festival or something to be down there, and now they have this great following.
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to be like I knew them when, because even back then I was just like, oh yeah, I think that's one of those local bands. That kind of thing. But it wasn't like I was like, no, I knew they would be big.
Right.
So I'm not trying to do that thing. But he played guitar with them, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Look at this band, that's cool. And then I saw, when he first popped off with that single.
Canyon?
Yeah, is that the one where it's
Voices?
like, I'm a big
Canyon.
man?
Yeah. My dad made the video for that.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, I saw him he released a clip, or somebody did, maybe it was one of those like So Far Sounds.
Yeah, it was So
sessions
Far, yeah.
Over, I think he did it somewhere over here in East
It
Dallas,
was
probably.
good.
And you're just like, shit.
Yeah.
That guitar player for Ottoman Turks has that voice.
Yeah.
Wow.
His voice is nuts,
And then again,
dude.
the honesty of like,
yeah,
here's this guy writing this song about his struggle with obesity.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, like, he wrote that and recorded it, and it's, even though he's like, well, I'm a musician,
but
I'm
also
gonna be honest.
it's double meaning to it too, and it's like really beautiful and like it's super cool. I love that song.
But you know how society is, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, the struggle for a larger guy to sit on a stool and play that kind of song. Yeah, here in Dallas with our friends and stuff, it's like we're going to be supportive. We're like, oh, dude, one of our own. That's awesome. That's great. But you never know how strangers are going to react to that.
Right.
You never know when all of a sudden he's going on Jimmy Fallon or whatever it was doing that, if it's going to be received.
If it's going to be received.
And I think you realize it's like not only that talent that he has, but just the honesty of the writing.
It's honesty, and that's like the key is like just be honest with what you do and like just be confident in what you do.
So like with so many other people, if they had done this like tropical Jimmy Buffett-esque album, I would have been like, what a fucking phony.
Yeah,
what a fucking phony.
What are you doing?
Jesus, trying to sell some summertime records, huh?
Right.
But knowing his whole progression, it's like, I think he probably really just wanted to write these songs.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? It's I believe that he would
I know
like
him.
this.
Like he's just kind of like, I want to do that. And I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, it's fun. Which then I start thinking about like, man, what are all these other artists that I've shortchanged them like that? Because I did it with Sturgill too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like how many,
Exactly.
and that's why it's like I got to just listen to things front to back. I got to put that ego and that preconceived whatever out of the way.
Well, that's the thing is a lot of like records or a lot of films that I really like. The first time I watch them, I'm always like, that was interesting. It's usually when they stay with me like that, or when I'm thinking about them, and usually on second rewatch I'm like, oh, it's because it like kind of unlocks like a new pathway in your brain. You've never seen anything like that before. You're like, oh, they're doing something I've never seen that. And those are usually my favorite.
What were some of the
things.
first films like that you think you saw, like in your youth, where you finally saw a video where like, what the hell happened?
And
am I allowed to experience this?
Yeah, for sure.
What were some of those movies? Blew your mind movies.
Okay,
or made you even feel uncomfortable? Like,
yeah, exactly. I think the first film that like really did that for me was The Sixth Sense.
Okay,
by M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
I remember my dad showed me that when I was 12. I think I was 13, and I watched that, and it freaking blew my mind. I was like, that movie is so good. And it was also just really scary to me. But I remember I owned it on physical, and I would bring it with me to my friend's house. And you know how there's like a twist ending. I'm not going to give it away if no one's seen it. I mean, I think.
Spoilers, it's only, 40 years old?
Yeah, right. But there's like a twist ending in it, and it's also just like really kind of spooky movie. But there's this a lot of people say it's like the best twist ending, one of the best twist endings in cinematic history. But I remember like showing my friends, and when the twist would happen, I wouldn't even be watching the movie. I would just like be watching them watch it, and I just love the movie so much. So that's a big one for me. I remember in high school I watched No Country for Old Men.
Mm-hmm.
That was really big for me, and like The Social Network, like those 2010s movies. But as I got older, like I just started getting into a lot of like Criterion Collection movies and like in films that are just throughout history. Like, are you familiar with Criterion Collection?
No, what is that?
So it's essentially like this foundation, I guess you would call it or I guess company, and they essentially collect what they deem to be some of the best films in history, at least the films that they can get the rights to, and they'll remaster them, and they will put like special features on them. Like they'll like get movies that have been like lost in time, but also modern movies too. They'll put like special features, like they'll do the cover art, they'll make it look really beautiful. But there's like this whole YouTube series where people go to the Criterion Closet, and they go, and it's like this closet where you get to pick out movies and talk about them and stuff. So in high school, I discovered the Criterion Collection. That's where I started to like discover cinema and stuff like that, and like really, older cinema. But I mean, I also like love Napoleon Dynamite too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So it's like it's a big like I'm just really into a lot of those different kinds of films, and like Richard Linklater is like a big influence on me too. So I'm sure I have like a giant list of films that impacted me. But
how much of your life have you gone to actual movie theaters to watch movies?
A lot.
Okay.
A lot of my life. Like I've spent a lot of time in movie theaters when I was younger. It's one of my favorite places to go. I think it's like we showed Real Life at the Texas Theater in Oak Cliff, and it was like I had only watched it like on my TV at the house or like on my monitor, and like seeing it in the theater was just like a different movie.
Yeah.
And so I think like the theater, and if you can't go to the theater, like try to like put it on your big screen or something. But theaters, I think, are super important. But
yeah, I'm in this bad habit now, just with work and everything. I'm watching. Well, I have one kid. We got another one on the way, and then we've just got work. I've got these side projects. Everything. It's like time is. So usually I'm watching movies in chunks, like on breaks, and I'm doing it on my phone.
Right.
And you're just like, I'm always missing something here. I'd rather experience than not. But
yeah,
the movie theater is just, you
have to sit there.
I get so hopeless and angry when I go there because I don't want them to go away.
Yeah.
And I'm not smart enough to figure out how to save them all. But we would go to, the Friday night movie was the thing. Going to an AMC or a Cinemark, and it was packed. Like you had to get the tickets. It would sell out, and multiple showings, multiple screens, and now you go, and it's just the saddest places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like because they're not selling out like they did for obvious reasons, right? And then you just like, I want to sit in these meetings. Are you guys just do you know people aren't buying tickets, so you're jacking up the prices so much on all these other things? Because truly, like I think we took my son to see like a little small kids movie because we're just trying to get him into a theater,
Yeah.
And it's like, I think for the three of us, you're talking about like $60, $70. You're like, what is this? And so you're like, are you guys trying to just kill it yourselves?
Well, that's the thing is like one hack that I found is like, and also to go back on that is like, then you have films that like Oppenheimer, like Barbie, that like literally save the movie theaters,
right?
Which is like you need movies like that like I literally like tell people like, hey, the movie theater is important. But I just got this thing called the AMC Pass, which is essentially I pay like $20 a month, dude. I get to see 4 movies a week for like IMAX, Dolby, and that's good for if like you're like a moviegoer.
No,
like
that's
me.
great. I'm always like anytime there's like a little club or a thing, I'm like, Jesus, does everything? But then you're telling me it's like actually worth it. I'm like, son of a bitch.
yeah, it's worth it. I really don't. I don't subscribe to a lot of things. So like the AMC Pass is one thing, and dude, I get to go see like IMAX, like Dolby.
Okay.
Like it's not just regular format. Like it's like
I just assumed it was going to be expensive and not worth it. I didn't even look.
I think it's worth it. I think it's like really worth it. And like I've seen like. Oh man, I'll see like 10 movies for like literally the price of one in 1 month, and it's great. And it's like I just think movie theaters are like just so important.
Yeah, I mean they really are. Like it's just such a great experience. The just that immersive sound.
Yeah, 100%. And like
something about just the lights just just coming down on you.
And it's also just like nice to like just not like see things on your vertically for just an hour. You know, like just sit there and just like watch something in the dark, like without being on your phone. Like there's this weird thing that's been happening to me. Like I'll go with my girlfriend to the movies and like we'll be sitting there and like some people, it'll be like 5 minutes before the movie's over. It's like, you know, like when you know the movie's about to end or whatever, and they'll just like get up and leave. I'm like, you didn't just get the gist. Like you got to sit there and watch it. Like
I could never imagine that.
Yeah, like you got to finish the movie, and it's like, but, you know, at least they're showing up, you know, to the theaters.
Yeah, I mean, at least you bought a ticket, right?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
that is insane. It's like you were here the whole time.
Exactly.
And you don't want to finish this out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's nuts, man.
Yeah.
I was thinking about when you're talking about Sixth Sense. You know, that was definitely one of those movies. But like one of the biggest movies with that kind of a twist that blew our minds in my day was like Fight Club.
Oh, man.
It was so... And then much like Sixth Sense, it's like all of a sudden you're like, fuck, I have to watch it again now.
Yeah.
Because now that I know the twist, this is a whole different
movie.
It's just insane, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I feel like those are always the best movies. It's like you'll watch them, you know, 10, 12, 13 times, and each time you watch them, it's like, even if it doesn't have a twist, it's just like layers that you haven't seen before. I think that's like some of my favorite movies are like that, you know? It's like films that just, there's so much to them.
Well, and then you realize the attention to detail, right? Like, you know, when I mean, it's Fight Club. It's been out forever.
Yeah,
so we know it's the same. We know he's Tyler Durden and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then you start to think about like, oh, wait. So when they filmed those scenes, there had to be this quality check person be like, no, he can't look right.
Right.
Because he's not there.
Right.
It's got to be this way. He can't say those words while he's saying that. Like all of it has to be. And you realize how meticulous it was.
Exactly, but you
make it make sense.
Yeah, but it's never obvious when you're watching it. It's like the way that they frame it or the way that it's brilliant.
It is. I mean, it's incredible that somebody's just that. Like, because you know now it's like even just the way you did it, where it's all. You don't have to worry about any of that trickery.
Yeah,
but it's like if you just forget a piece. You're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 8 months and I forgot I was supposed to put this here.
Yeah.
Where's the footage? Shit.
No kidding. Exactly. I just saw. Have you seen Weapons yet in the theater? Yeah, the movie's a trip.
Good?
It was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, I liked it. It was like one of those films where I was like, oh man, like it was a good horror film. I really enjoyed it. It was really spooky. But that was just like I went and saw that in the theater recently. I was just like, man, like there's just nothing better than just like the theater. Just sitting there and just like. I don't know.
I feel like I have to watch a movie like that in the theater because if it's in my house, it's like you start looking at your windows.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
right.
How secure is everything?
Yeah, you go get a beer or something. You know,
man. You know, like just cinema in general. It's like, do you ever think about a movie like the first time you were disturbed, where you had to, not like horror movies, but like, have you ever seen the movie Requiem for a Dream?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I'm embarrassed to say I haven't seen it.
I don't know how it would play now. I don't know. I don't know if it would seem more tame or not.
Really?
But for us, it was like.
I mean, like I know of it. Like I know, like I've seen. Like
there's a couple scenes where it's a movie where things are going from bad to worse.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna watch it later, I don't want to ruin it. But there's just a couple scenes where you leave out of there and you're like, I think I'm just a different person.
I've just changed. I'm no longer the person that entered.
I don't know. I don't remember if I had to have watched that in high school probably. So even then, it's like that was one of those movies where like. Okay, I didn't know it at the time, but it's like a piece of innocence just left me.
Like I am no longer a child.
Yeah, but it was still like it was just one of those first like mind opening moments of like, oh, this
movies
could be
movies
reality.
Can be like this.
Yeah. And like there are people in the world where this could happen to them.
Yeah,
you know, I know that sounds strange when you haven't watched it, but
yeah.
I don't know. If you do watch it, you'll have to text me and tell me if it held up, or if you're just like, dude, this is fucking cheesy.
No, I've heard it's pretty good. That's one film I'm like. There's a lot of films that I'm like embarrassed to say I have never seen.
Yeah, but there's also so many.
There's so many. You can't watch all of them.
No,
you know.
No, I mean, and one of the cult classics you're supposed to watch is The Departed.
I love The Departed.
I just watched it for the first time last month.
Really?
Yeah, because it was just one of those. I started hearing so many references throughout my life to it, where I was like, I've got to see it.
You just have to see it.
Well, because what happened, I knew all these references for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, I knew all the Luke, I am your father, or whatever, blah, 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 blah. All of this stuff. And I'd seen all these parodied scenes of when they're in these different parts of the movie.
Yeah.
When it came time to actually watch the movie, it felt so boring because I was like, oh, so it's the thing.
There's a thing that I saw.
And so with The Departed, I was like, I've got to watch this before that happens.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it was one of those, like, I can't believe it went under the radar for that long.
Well, speaking of Star Wars, like that was one thing that like it was weird because it was like when I watched Empire, or was it Empire Strikes Back where he reveals that?
I don't know. I don't know enough about him.
I think it's the second one. And anyways, I remember watching it and just knowing that he was his father already.
Right.
And I was like 4.
Yeah.
I was like, I already know
and
that.
it just doesn't hit. You
Yeah,
know?
I think it's because it was just became so seeped into cultural identity that it's just like it's already kind of just a thing.
It would be so incredible if you could like wipe your mind and go back to 70 or whenever that was released and just
people were just like,
experience, like, because now it's like, wow, that really was just the edge of what was possible.
Yeah.
And then, have you ever seen the matte drawings that they did for the scenes?
Yeah, like of the stormtroopers and stuff, like
yeah,
where they
the
draw.
backgrounds.
Yeah, it's
And you're just thinking,
incredible.
Jesus, so there was some like just incredible artist, who mastered matte paintings that we never really give the credit to.
It's insane.
Because why would you? It's background, but it's like it was so. When you see them, just this huge canvas, and they're just meticulously working on a building or something.
It's incredible.
Yeah, and you're like, I do wonder, like. I think that's one of the fun debates right now is how much CGI do you want to use? And that's why, that's why I don't get too worried about AI with filmmaking. Yeah. Right? We're going to overdo it. Yeah. We're going to do that. That's going to happen. But just like we were talking about, VHS, records, CDs, these matte drawings, eventually someone's going to go, whoa, did you check out that new movie? Yeah. All human. Yeah, right. All human. What? Right. Yeah, no AI. Right. And you're going to want to watch that,
exactly. Right? I feel like, but I also just feel like a lot of people like are you really going to go buy a ticket to see an AI movie? Like, or will you? Would you?
No. I mean, never say never. Never say never. There was a debate because that music venue up in Denton, Rubber Gloves?
Yes, of course.
Okay. They've been a staple of Denton for decades now.
Did they just close?
No, they're still open.
Okay.
Well,
someone closed.
I think they might have closed a couple times and been reopened, but I'm not a Denton person, so I don't know the specifics. But they had put a post up that they were going to have an AI music night. And
I saw that.
And they were going to have this guy, Paul Slavens, who is a staple of the scene here.
KXT?
Yeah. And a big music lover, has done a lot for the scene in different ways, but a very, like, sound voice, I guess. And it was like a couple hours. They, like, put another post out, retracted it, and they were like, we are very sorry. Everyone was angry that we're going to have this AI music night.
Really?
And, they went through the phases of like, I guess we advertised it wrong. Because what they were saying is they were going to play some AI music, I guess, have a discussion about it with Paul Slavens.
Interesting.
And to me, I was like, that sounds super interesting. And this again is where it's like the age difference, where it's like, okay, I remember when I was that person who made these comments that were emotional overreactions. Right. Where it's like, I'll never have AI music, blah, blah, blah. You should be ashamed, blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, well, I would have found that really interesting to hear not only your passionate opinions, even if I disagree with them, but also to hear like this person who's been a staple of the scene at this venue that's been a staple of the scene.
They have to say about it.
Yeah, like it's coming no matter what.
Sure.
And so then I was thinking about it, it's like, I don't know. I think AI, I don't know if, I mean, especially if you're talking about generative AI, where it's a person prompting, right? If we're talking about that kind specifically, there's probably going to be something wild that I can't think of that is going to be super original and impressive because somebody found a very unique way to prompt something.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, I don't know if I'm going to love it, but I'm going to keep an open mind. I don't know.
It's interesting. Like I saw some video yesterday and I was like watching it like 5 or 6 times. I was like, this is crazy. Like I didn't know it was AI. It was like this video of this guy and it was like he had this dog that was like 7 feet big and it looked really real. And I was watching it like, what in the world? And then I didn't know until like 5 minutes later there was AI and I was like, that is crazy.
Well, and on the smaller scale too, I think it's going to have its place, right? Because let's say you decide to make a film that is totally different than this one. You're going to do some kind of action film, right? If it gets good enough that you can have a subscription to some sort of AI service, and instead of having to pay, we spent $2 million on CGI, if you're able to then just AI whatever little scene for that moment and get your movie done, well, aren't a lot of independent people going to be able to do some things now that would normally be out of their wheelhouse?
I think so. Personally, I don't know if I would want to do that, but
I don't know.
I definitely think that was going to happen. It's going to happen.
Because, I told you I went through audio engineering school, and you're a musician, right? It makes me think about the analog and digital debate. So, I remember people being like, you need to have these analog compressors
Right.
that you know how to, like, you know all the corks and you need to know how to adjust
all the
these
screws
and blah, 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 blah.
and, yeah.
Right. Where now we have these incredible digital presets
Yeah.
where you're like, hey, if I want that reverb that sounds like this.
Get this plug in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, is that cheating?
Right.
Is it cheating or is it using the tools you have? I don't know.
Yeah.
You could argue either direction, right?
I think my main thing is like, you know, like I'll be honest, like ChatGPT for certain things, like if I'm in a pinch and I need to like have help, like, you know, making a list for something, I will give it the data and be like, make this a bullet point or something like that, and I'll do that. But I try to avoid using it for creative purposes, like, and that's just me, as you know, that's just how I am. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just there's like a new version came out recently, like 5 or something.
Jeez.
And it's like just getting wild, man. But
well, my favorite use for it right now is just I like to write articles on the side too, and you know, I don't have an editor. I don't have the funds to throw this by somebody, so I like to run it through there.
Yeah, but
you know?
because you're still writing the thing.
I think if it's your original thought, you're using it as a tool, I don't see any issue with it.
You know, fix some punctuation. Like,
yeah, let me see what, or show me a paragraph that's clunky.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right, great. You know,
the only thing I think is like I think that, but you also have a basic understanding of like paragraph structure and punctuation. Like, you know how that works. And so the only thing is I'm concerned is like the newer generation might like not even try to learn that because AI can do it.
Yeah,
like
fear.
like oh, like, you know, I don't need to know how a run-on sentence works because that knows how to do it. You know, and it's like it's interesting. Also, one thing I like was really interested by is like AI and ChatGPT is like when you give it something, it'll do this thing where it like gives you a hyphen.
Yeah,
and
my God,
that's kind of a running joke. And I'm like, in 10 years, will students no longer use hyphens because they know that AI uses it? Like, will the hyphen be dead?
Maybe.
Is that
you know,
interesting?
Like, there's already been like little rules like that have changed. Like, there used to be, how did it go? Like the way you would use commas and spaces after periods, right? Because you're saving ink. Like, there's the single space after a period, the double space.
Right.
There's the third comma or no, only two. And all those rules, it always constantly changes, which is interesting. But yeah, the hyphen could go away because it is a red flag immediately. Like, oh, okay, they probably ran through this.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, we'll see, man.
I don't know. I'm optimistic because I think it'll be the same as usual. Like, everyone has heard an overproduced studio song that you can tell had way too many engineers, way too many writers, blah blah blah, way too many producers, a corporate feel, and then everyone can tell when something's like a little more raw and original.
Right.
So, you know, yeah, is AI going to crank out some music that sucks? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But the other thing I was thinking about was hip hop music, right? When people were like sampling, you know, or even before that, when they're just taking someone else's record and they're just scratching and, you know, mashing things together live. Yeah. And somebody's rapping over that. It's like there was a generation of people who were like, it's not music. It's not music. And because it is a form of stealing. Right?
Yeah.
But I think if you're good enough at that theft, you know what I'm saying? Because like now all of a sudden it's like if you sample the right way, it's super creative.
Right,
the artist is flattered that you sampled them.
Right.
And you didn't create that song in its entirety all by yourself.
Yeah.
But it was your original thought to go, oh man, if I took this, right? And then we've all seen people who have like taken a song's entire, like all they did was pull the other lyric off and make their own lyrics. And you're like, this really kind of sucks.
That's the thing is, you like,
know?
Exactly. And it's like, that's the thing is like the band that I have, me and my buddy, like, you know, we make it in our room. And like, that's the thing is like, sometimes if we don't have like, oh dang, we don't have this certain, you know, drum, or we don't have this certain synth, like we're not afraid to like splice up a drum loop. Like but I don't think that that's like not being creative. It's just like those are and I also think it's like if people don't have the tools to like get a drum kit or like get this or like get a crazy synth or something, like we try our best to record a lot of what we do, but like I don't think there's anything wrong with just like throwing in a drum loop or like throwing in a synth or something. It's still making stuff, you know?
It's kind of like when you were talking about the selecting the footage, and some of it you're like, not this. Yeah. This is really not how my friend wants to be viewed.
Yeah.
Same way, it's like, you know, in your gut.
You know, you have a gut instinct.
You know in your gut when this is like some lame shit that you're putting together.
Yeah, where you're half-assing it.
And you know, like, maybe I'll pull that out.
Yeah.
And if you get that feeling, then stop.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
But Yeah, I don't know.
100%.
It's going to get super weird.
Yeah, it will.
I don't think we're going to control it. So I'm more like, well, let's see how crazy it gets. You know?
Yeah. I'm watching from afar, and it's starting to fool me already. It's crazy.
But there's also the lighter, funny side. Like, have you seen the shit? It's like a daily, it's like Yeti or like a Kong or something. I can't remember. Anyway, it's like the gorilla who's talking with a normal voice, and he's doing like his like 15-second vlogs while he's like,
oh yeah, I've seen that.
yeah, and it's like, well, that's fucking hilarious. And if you can bring me that, that's super funny.
But it's also because people know it's AI. Like it's
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
It's not trying to be like creative or whatever.
yeah, when it's obvious that it's AI, I don't mind it being that kind of fast food.
I can't help it. Like when I watch AI like movies or like AI like music or something, something about it, I'm just kind of like, it doesn't filter through my heart or something.
Yeah, well, it's disingenuous.
Yeah,
right?
you're just like, oh, that's cool.
Well, like, okay, here's an example. Like the way an AI song could probably hit you, and you'd be like, damn, that's incredible. It's like, I'm still open to some of these possibilities of like, what if you found a paraplegic and they just got music in their heart, but they've just never played an instrument, but all of a sudden through those tools, it's like they wrote an album, but it's somebody else's voice. They never actually sang or played, but it's their experience maybe or something.
Oh, yeah, that's
there's going to be
interesting.
some muddy water where it's like, well, yeah, how the hell was he supposed to play the instruments?
Right.
How was he supposed to sing? And so I think we're going to blur these boundaries.
It's going to get real interesting.
real interesting because
Yeah.
there'll be debate on like,
Because
well, is he really a musician? It's like he thought it up.
Right.
It was his original
Well,
stuff,
it
but
was-
it's weird and uncomfortable.
It was like when we started. It's like when we started switching to digital film.
Yeah.
And people were like starting to shoot on digital, and they were like, "Well, it's not really cinema. It's not really film making." And it's like, well, now 90% of films are shot. I still love. I love 16 millimeter and 35 millimeter film, but like, I mean, it's just people can't afford it, you know. And it's like, if you can, great, use it. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I'm excited to see where it goes.
Me too.
And like everyone's a critic, right? There's
Yeah.
gonna be some cool stuff, gonna be some terrible stuff. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. I'm just kind of like, I don't really. I'm just kind of like watching it, and I'm just like, this is really interesting and strange.
Yeah.
But
The most unique part I think about it right now, right? Because like we have all these movies, like what is it, I, Robot with Will Smith. And
Yeah.
have you seen that?
I have seen that.
You know, and it's like all these things showing you where not only are like robots and these things probably going to this is probably going to happen.
Yeah.
But there will inevitably be the discussion of emotions,
Right.
original thought.
Right.
Do robots have rights?
Right.
So in that lane, what's kind of cracking me up right now is, the fun term like clanker. Have you heard that? So there's a slang going around that they're calling like AI and all that stuff clanker. Like I'm not going to listen to any fucking clanker music.
Oh, what?
Right? Which again, this is all fictitious, made up stuff right now. But doesn't that sound wildly racist?
Yeah.
It sounds like no daughter of mine will be dating insert whatever slur.
Right. And it also sounds like a Blade Runner term or something.
Yeah.
Like what? Like a Guardians of the Galaxy
But
thing.
I'm just thinking right now, it's like, damn, potentially in 20, 25 years, 30 years, people are going to be going like, oh, Jesus, no, my grandpa, like, he put a bunch of shit about clanker this, clanker that on Instagram like 30 years ago. Please, it's just a different era.
Yeah.
And it's like you and your couple friends with your robot are coming, and the robot's like, I don't feel safe here. I don't feel comfortable,
Right.
And it's going to be weird because it's obviously very different, but it's like all these people in American history who were dropping racial slurs towards black people and stuff. It's like in that time, right or wrong, that fully made sense to those people. They didn't think like, oh, this is wrong. That's why they behaved that way, right? The majority. I'm sure there were plenty of people who thought it was wrong. And so now I wonder, it's like, man, is that going to be a similarity with robots and AI in like 50 years? Is it going to be this, like, are these doomsday movies actually going to happen because they're like, we're not just doing your work anymore?
Right.
Will they become sentient,
Right.
emotional? Will they prove that, it's just fascinating to think about that it
fascinating.
actually could get to that point where it's like they've enslaved us for 50 years. We don't want any more.
Right.
And it's like, that sounds wild to think about,
That
right?
does sound wild.
And it sounds weirdly racist to even talk about it that way. It's like, it's
Right.
it's all made up, but it's like
Yeah.
you're comparing black people to robots. Like, no, sorry. That's not what I mean.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's strange that like
It is strange.
hearing a word like clanker and you're like, is this going to be one of those?
Right.
Is this going to be one of those? That's interesting.
Yeah.
And like, go look at that rubber gloves post. Like the rage
Wow.
of some of these people. Like it really hit them. And I understand. Like they want music to be made by real people, and they want those people to be paid for their music and have success and create. And I totally understand it. That's great. That all makes sense.
Yeah.
It was very passionate.
Well, I saw some post like because I was like on this IndieWire post. Someone did a feature on IndieWire about the movie, and I've been talking with the author of that post. She's really kind, and she did a post on AI. It was very bird's eye view of AI. It wasn't like I support or I don't support AI. It was kind of like an IndieWire posted it on their thing. There was like a lot of people just like not even really looking at what had been posted, but just the word AI. It was like, it was like real like, Yeah. And I was like, well, take a second to like think about it for a second. She wasn't supporting it, but she also wasn't like,
she's being a journalist, right?
Yeah, she was just like, this is what is happening. And people were like, how would you support this? And I think there are a lot of people that even if the word AI comes up, they're trying to like make it maybe not become a thing, but it's like that's out of your control.
You're not stopping it.
No.
Yeah, I mean, that's like saying you're going to stop the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there, man. It's there.
You can choose not to use it, but it's here.
Well, like, have you met those people, like there were holdouts for so long for smartphones. Just I'm using my flip phone. And some people have gone back, but like there were people who just held out. And it's like, at some point, you're inconveniencing your life so much.
Right.
Like my parents, it was like, I will never use a credit card or shop online, ever. And it's like, yeah, but now society's to the point where if you don't do that, you're really limiting what you can even do.
Right.
What, you're going to write a check? What are you talking about?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
And so that's the way it's going to go down.
Yeah.
You're going to be slowly forced into it, whether you like it or not.
It's already seeped its way.
And you're just going to have to try to keep it at bay from like more malicious things.
I mean, it's already like starting on Google too. Like I'll be like, hey, how do you do this? And the first thing I see is AI.
Oh my God.
AI result.
And that's so frustrating because so much of it's wrong.
Yeah.
You're like, I had to tell my wife, I was like, just skip past that for now. It's not there yet.
Right.
It's not there yet.
Right. Exactly. I mean, it still makes mistakes, but it's getting weird. It's getting good.
Yeah, dude. It's going to be, I don't know. Did you ever get into Rick and Morty at all?
I didn't. No, a lot of my high school buddies did, but
yeah, they got a lot of things like that where it's like the society created the thing, and then that thing within itself created a society.
I see. Oh man,
it's like wait. Are we one layer of that right now?
Right.
Have we already done this?
Rick and Morty's a trip,
dude. It is. It's my favorite skit is Perfect Level.
Oh, yeah.
He's out there. He's like Morty's like hanging a shelf, and he's using like the level with the bubble. And Rick's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm leveling. He's like, well, you're not leveling it with a bubble.
Right.
He's like, if you want to experience true level. So he spends like days or something leveling the floor to true level. And when Morty steps on it, it's like the true level is so intoxicating. He's like weak in the knees and falling.
That's funny.
And he pulls him out, and all of a sudden the whole world's crooked and he can't live, and he has to erase his memories.
Wow.
Because nothing is true level.
Pretty brilliant.
But yeah.
That's awesome.
What do you think's the next lane for filmmaking now, man? Now that you got this, you've completed it officially, and now it's time for the next one, right?
Yeah, for sure. And it's like interesting because it's like it's out and it's like online or whatever. But I think before it's anything, I think I would really like to like when the next one comes out, like maybe like remaster this one, put it on like physical and stuff, and like maybe like throw it on like Canopy or like iTunes or stuff like that, because right now it's on like Vimeo and you can get it on my website. It's on YouTube as well. But there's something I like about like physical stuff and also just like different platforms, so I'd like to like later down the line like do that. But this really got me going, and because of that, I've started to like brainstorm different things. So I'm working on a short film for my girlfriend. She wrote it and directed it, and she stars in it. She's a great actress. So I'm working on that, almost done with that. And then I got a short film that I'm trying to do by the end of this year, because then I can submit to places, but also just to create again. Like this thing just drained me, so I'm just ready just to have fun and like just create. And then I have like a longer script that I'm trying to finish and see out, and I would like to try to make it like next year or something. But yeah, and in the meantime, I'm just like connecting with people and like trying to get contacts and numbers and like just starting to reach out and stuff. If anything, like this has been the one that like really helped me like just get I don't even want to say foot in the door, because that makes it seem like I'm I feel like it's a little bit more like I got some eyes on the career.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That happens with these comics I work with. That's why I try to convince them to, when they're ready,
Yeah.
not like don't rush it out, but when you should put something out, because at the very least,
Don't wait.
well, you've shown people now,
Yeah.
you're committing to a level of seriousness.
Yeah.
I did this thing and put this thing out.
Yeah.
I have a serious,
I'm being, yeah.
yeah, I can, because the process of starting and finishing, so many people just start
It
and
is
then it goes
so
away.
hard.
Yeah, and so it's just a sign. It's kind of how people used to say, like, go to college just to get the piece of paper. This is kind of your version of that, of like,
Yeah.
no, I committed to a project, finished it, put it out there,
Exactly.
and I'm moving on to another one.
Exactly. And I did it in college, and I didn't go to film school. I did like online communications college classes, and so this was kind of like my film school in a way. And like, if anything, I can just be like, I don't owe anyone any money. Like, I did it myself, and like, that's cool. Like, that's all I really care about. And it's gotten some eyes on me. So now the next thing I do, I think it's not going to be more so like a debut, is like, people kind of know who the right people are starting to recognize it and stuff. And
What is the path this way these days?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've never understood this about people who want to start a show, a movie. I mean, first of all, what does the film festival circuit do for anybody? What is really the goal?
So with this movie, like, it was definitely this one got into none, but also because I get it. It's a personal movie. It's kind of like, it's not really something you can like sell.
Yeah, but
And
when you're submitting it as the creator, like, what are you thinking that's going to do? I'm just totally ignorant of this side of it.
100%. So film festivals and those kinds of things are really good for just like connecting with people that are kind of in the industry and stuff, but also that's where you can like sell your movie too, and you can start to just shake hands and get to know people. But it's also like, they're just also just really fun, and it's how you like get to mingle and connect with those people that are in that world. Film festivals are like the hub for that. I don't think that it's the only way to go when you're first starting out. As you can see, like, I'm doing this with you right here because I put it online for free. But it is a way to really start to get your name out there, and I'm really hoping that with the next stuff I do, I would love to do that. I just love film festivals. Like the Oak Cliff Film Festival is great.
I've never actually been to a film festival.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they're so fun. You just get like some drinks and popcorn, and it's like people are talking about films. You hang out afterwards. It's really fun. But as a filmmaker, it's like I'm really looking forward to doing that, because it's like you can only do so much alone.
So if somebody, you're at these film festivals, right? There's a lot of people looking to buy a film, right? And release it on whatever they're doing. This film that you took so much time on, like, you don't have to say what it is, obviously. But do you even go to something, do you think of that as like, okay, I have this dollar amount in mind? Or would that not matter? It's just, let me see what the company, who it is.
Yeah, I mean,
what would be your stipulations for, I'm gonna give it to you?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that just means I think it would just matter if like it made sense, like in the deal for that. Like for this, it was like, and also it has to kind of like, you have to kind of go over your budget. So like, if you made it for $20,000 and then they're offering you $20,000, well, that doesn't really, unless you just want more like publicity and eyes on it, which I guess in that case it really makes sense. But I mean, I don't really know fully because I haven't really gone there yet, but I guess it would just make sense with like, I also think that it's important to like partner with the people that like make sense for your movie too. Because if you partner with someone that like doesn't make any sense, they might not know what to do with it, and then it kind of just gets thrown under the rug.
What type of person do you think you would want to partner with that?
Oh
that
man,
film?
There's so many different people. I mean, like
what are the qualities? I guess. Is what I'm saying. It doesn't matter the name. Like, I want a place that does this.
I want a place that like really supports just like independent film, and in a place that just supports like the artist's voice, and someone that's not trying to cut this and that or do this and that. Someone that just believes in what you're doing. And I hope I find that person, or I hope I find those people. I'm a really big believer in like, I really want to like I'm a big fan of like auteur cinema, where like people essentially means that the person directed it, they wrote it, they also edited it, they have their hands on a lot of it. And I'm really big about that, and I really want to make sure that if I meet anyone or start to partner like that, like they understand that.
Yeah, so you want to stay really hands on with
everything.
Absolutely,
and also just like stay real with what I make.
Yeah, that's difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult, man. I mean, shoot, Disney call me up, I'm not gonna say no, but but I mean, we'll see. I don't know.
Well, in a dream world at one of these festivals, I mean, would it be like one of the streaming sites picked it up?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and also like, I mean, you know, Netflix and those people, like they put out really cool stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I guess when it comes to like production companies, like you want to make sure you're just with the right people, you know?
Yeah.
So when I get there, it'll be interesting, you know?
I mean, it's one of those things like just how your path went, like making it.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it feels like, oh, it's slow. It's not. It kind of happens that way, you know. Because if you were to immediately, let's say Netflix was like, we love it, we want it.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost too big of a problem now.
Right.
It's like, well, what is? I don't know how to negotiate this contract. I don't know what's good, what's bad.
Right.
Am I getting fucked here? Like I don't know.
Right.
You know, and it's like, what do you mean they're only going to play it in South Korea? Like, you
Right.
know, like I don't. You wouldn't know the nuance.
Exactly.
So it probably is a good little, you know, foot in the water as you're learning more and keep going.
For sure.
It's
And
exciting, man.
Yeah, man. And I see this one as like, you know, it's like it was really just like it was like an experiment, and I'm glad people saw it. But like, I really think that like my career starts like I think that's always gonna be the thing that you think when you finish something. Like, well, my next thing's really my first thing. Or like so that's kind of how I feel. Is like this is something that's like I'm really, really honored that like people are starting to like actually see it as like a thing. Like it's not. I'm no longer like, you know, Julian, the 18-year-old that like, oh, he made that little thing. Like that's cool. It's more just like, if anything, it's just more like, huh, like, okay, he's actually doing it, right? And I have such a long way to go, but, you know, it's fun and it's cool and it's just awesome to see, like, people, like, digging it, you know?
Do you think you can stay in Dallas and keep making, like, do you think you can make a lot of films here? Or do
Yeah.
you think there's inevitability of leaving?
I mean, we'll see. I don't have any plans for that. I mean, I think Dallas is great, and, like, I know Texas just got, like, a really big, like, film fund, and so that's really cool. I mean, I love Dallas, and like, you know, I always think like the things that I write, I never really, at least right now, I don't envision them like anywhere else. Like the stuff that I'm writing is like, it's always I always see it like happening here, in my own backyard, but also because like I know the resources I have and I like to use what I have.
Yeah.
And so Dallas is like, yeah, we'll you know, I'm hoping to do the next thing here for sure.
Yeah, there's so many unexplored areas here. Where you can get, I mean, you know, first of all, if you're not from here, it's like most cities. If you're not from there and you don't know all the corners, it's like you just forget the wide variety of just the tapestries of buildings and
It's nuts.
neighborhoods.
And that's the thing
the
is-
possibilities are so endless.
They are endless, and it's like that's one thing I really want to make sure like I'm capturing, because like as you see like certain like neighborhoods or certain places are like being torn down and like apartment buildings, and so I really want to capture like the Dallas that I know. And like if you watch real life, like there's a lot of stuff where it's like you'll see some Dallas landmarks that are like when I was a kid I used to go to, but now they're boarded up.
Yeah.
Or they're like torn down. Or
Well, hey, remind me where your elementary was. Is that the one?
Hexter Elementary.
Is that the one down in Lower Greenville, or is that no? That's more by what's
it's on
the road?
PV Road.
PV. Thank you. Yeah.
That's where I used to go to elementary school. And now it's like being built. It's like being remade, and it's huge. Like because I went to Booker T, Washington, in downtown, and it kind of looks like Booker T, like how they're making it. It's like really big. But Hexter, when I used to go, was like this really small, like charming little school. Like it was real tiny. And when you watch the movie, there's that scene where I'm like revisiting my elementary, and that's one scene in the movie where like I would really want the next movie I do just to feel like that the whole time. Like I'm a really big fan of that scene. I'm really proud of that scene. But yeah, I mean it's nostalgic, and it's really kind of just sad to like see these places go.
Yeah.
You know, and I just wanted to document it.
It's just kind of the way it happens, right?
It is.
It's
man.
strange.
It is strange.
You know, you think, because like when you're younger, and I don't mean you're younger like you right now, I mean like when you're a little kid.
Yeah.
You know, things just feel so permanent.
No
you know?
kidding.
And that's been one of the weirdest adjustments. And I don't know if it's just because we're in Dallas, and Dallas has a harder time with appreciating the history, or maybe the history, like maybe there's not enough architectural significance to save here. I don't know. You know, I'm trying to find more people who are very knowledgeable and very active with like the history of areas like Deep Ellum.
Yeah.
You know, because that's one of the spots where it's changing drastically. And that place has been there since the 20s.
Yeah.
You know, so to think how it started to what it is now, but then also it's like, you know, like
Deep Ellum is like, I'm not gonna lie, like I mean, there's some cool venues, but sometimes it gets scary down there.
it's a little crazy. I've seen it go through a couple waves where it gets real stabby and shooty, and then it gets really like ghost town, and everyone's like, save Deep Ellum. What's weird about it now, in my lifetime, is this is the first time I've seen it where it feels like they're attempting to make it like a neighborhood. All these giant apartment buildings and things, they weren't there.
Yeah.
And so we're getting closer to where it's like a livable area.
Place, yeah.
And typically that improves things. But at the same time, it's still some of the wild venues down there. So
crazy.
I don't really know where it's going. And like just recently they're talking about like they're going to do a new curfew where all the streets close at like 10 p.m. or something.
That's crazy.
And nobody knows how it's going to work. But what I'm curious about is like what we're viewing now is these like shitty square apartment buildings that are all being built the same. I'm kind of curious if in 50, 60 years someone's going to be like, save the building.
Right.
You know, like if they're like,
Right.
no, this is from the 2000s and
Right.
you gotta, you know.
You got to save it.
This was built in 1990.
Yeah.
It's from the 1900s. We need to preserve
Right.
it. Right? Like,
Right.
and we're all going to be looking at it like, we've hated those buildings.
Yeah. No,
You know,
absolutely.
I'm real curious to see, like, I really hope medical science advances to where I can live for like 400 years because I
Right.
just want to see it.
See the progression. Yeah.
Just all the stuff that just changes and is weird.
Have you been to All Good Cafe before in Deep
In
Ellum?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love that place.
Yeah.
It's super good.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a little, I guess that's like the last little bit of kind of older
Main
Deep
Street,
Ellum
yeah.
too, right?
Yeah, like that's very preserved. Yeah, as you get deeper, it starts to get a little bit more like.
I usually stay on that end because most of the time,
Me too.
if I'm going down there, I'm going down there to pick up ramen from Ani Ramen, or I'm going to
Yeah.
Dallas Comedy Club.
Yeah.
Those are usually the spots I'm hitting down there, and then I'll usually just make the loop to see what's happening in the chaos.
Yeah, I'll go there for either All Good Cafe or the Bomb Factory, or
Yeah.
I'll go for there's a 35 millimeter film lab there called Photography, and it's
that's
super cool. And like I go drop off I think I just butchered their name, but
that's
I
good.
drop off their.
It's got to be the only one of those in Deep Ellum,
yeah.
though, so just look it up.
Yeah, exactly. And I drop off my film there, and they're super cool.
See, that's the Deep Ellum I want, though.
Yeah.
Where you have the
Little
eclectic
places.
groups of like specialists.
Yeah.
You know, and that, I guess that's always my fear with Deep Ellum. It's like, hey, you need a couple clubs and stuff down there. I get it. I get it. But like, let's have a standard of we need to have this many like places you would go to during the daytime also.
Right.
You know, and let it survive.
100%.
Yeah. Have you been to? Well, I don't know. Do you drink? Have you been down to? That's right. In the movie, you drink. But have you been down to places like the Freeman or Adair's?
I've been to Adair's.
Other corner.
Yeah. I used to live in like the Camden apartments.
Oh,
over
okay.
there.
Mhm.
So that's right next to Adair's and stuff. And
That's the other like Heart and Soul, or like those little
Yeah.
hole in the walls where you're like, I don't know who's playing.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a cool band.
it's gonna be cool.
And there's going to be some interesting, fun people here.
Yeah, and then there's like Sons of Herman Hall right over there, and then there's the Deep Ellum Art Co. over there, which is where a lot of my friends used to play.
My old studio is right across the street there.
Oh,
at
really?
Common Desk. And I'm so thankful I moved out when I did because they've torn that street up so much.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine asking you to park down there and come do a podcast
Oh my gosh,
right now.
I tried parking in Deep Ellum the other day for my birthday, and I was just like driving.
Wild.
It's crazy. Good luck trying to park during a show.
Yeah.
Like it's like ridiculous, man. But
Yeah, I mean, I love that area. But
Yeah.
it has gotten to the point where a lot of my friends, where I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about going to this thing. They're like, we don't want to go down there.
right.
I'm like, really? And they're
Right.
like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I get it. But
Yeah.
I'm hoping I, bump into somebody who's part of like a Deep Ellum preservation thing or something and kind of get I'm just so ignorant to all the history, but I love it down there.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Have you been to the lower Greenville area?
Yeah, of course. I used to work at because that's where Good Records used to be a long time ago.
Yeah, you know then.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I worked at Outside Texas for a while, which was on Lower Greenville next to Gapco.
Yeah.
And so Lower Greenville, like I'm very familiar with.
So what
that
they
area.
did there, that's what I'm hoping they can figure out with Deep Ellum.
Yeah, it's like kind of like chill, sort of like, but people still come out at night. But like you can take your family. you know?
Yeah, literally, like during the day, my wife and I will go to like the gelato place over there.
Yeah.
And then at nighttime, when we have a babysitter, it's like we'll go to Single Wide.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
and it's like I like walking into an area like Single Wide where it's like you're going to see some business professionals in like suits every now and then, but they're also going to be like right next to the person with the mohawk.
Right.
And it's like everyone's just kind of drinking cheap beer. And it's
right.
like, yes, this is what it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I'm hoping they figure that out for Deep Ellum.
Yeah.
I don't know. But listen, man, I've taken up enough of your time. I really appreciate it.
Dude, thanks, man. This is awesome.
Dude, I'm excited to see what you do. Doors open anytime you want to come back.
Thanks,
and
man.
hopefully in like a year or two, you'll be like, listen, I'm too successful for this
Nah,
podcast."
no way, man. No way. This is my hood over here, so I'll be around.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to plug before you get out of here?
Man, I mean,
Real life on YouTube?
Check out the film. Yeah, I mean, Julian Sol Jordan on all my stuff, all social media, and then check out Sunrise Academy. My
Oh
band.
yeah, we didn't even get to talk about your music. We'll do that another time.
Yeah, let's do it another time. But Sunrise Academy is the indie band, and then you can follow Julian Sol Jordan for all the film and then some music stuff. So
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on.
thank you, man. Appreciate it.
The I'm a Fan of podcast, music, comedy, and more.